This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we'll begin with the flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome everybody to the April 24th Marin County Commission meeting. We start out with public forum. Any public comments?
There's no one online.
Last time we had someone came in at 5 seconds afterwards. We'll move on into agenda approval. We do want to add fence viewing. That'd probably be under Brad Jantz, I'm going to guess.
Okay.
And you should have got some email information from Tina. What was that?
Susan.
County treasurer.
Will not, okay. Any other additions or changes to the agenda? If not, the agenda will stand as approved. We'll begin with administrative business. Tina.
Okay. One thing that you might want to note on the agenda, we have added during administrative time or right after the commission outside board reports. That would be your, yes, okay. Okay.
And if we run out of time, we can do it at the end.
Okay.
We can be flexible.
All right, that sounds
Since
good.
our first person's already here.
I have 2 sets of minutes for April 17th. One was a special meeting and then the regular meeting.
Okay, commission has had a chance to review the minutes of the 2 meetings on April 17th. Any corrections or additions? If not, is there a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Commissioner Garing, is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Change orders.
Anybody have some change orders?
You like the summaries, right?
No. They're in the packet anyway.
Hey, Tina, for your information, I started receiving emails from you finally.
Oh, good. So I don't need to double send you.
Somebody did so and something.
Okay, good. Thank you.
They're trying to keep you out of the loop.
I know.
A secret.
Everybody's pointing your finger someplace else.
I'm just glad it's working.
Yeah.
Good.
That's easy to do with technology, is point the finger at something else.
Well, I'll obviously be going to somebody because they haven't been getting bounce backs.
I think it just got deleted.
And 2 computer texts, couldn't find it in. Had 2 people look at it. They're the ones that point your fingers back and forth.
Okay, change orders are completed.
Okay, do you have one salary sheet?
Okay.
And just so, kind of a bit of background, when the new EMS director came on, he started hiring personnel at a lower rate than what you all set as the current rate, but yet was within the pay scale. And so I didn't have a problem necessarily with them bringing someone in lower, as long as there was a path to move forward to where they would be able to be at the same level over a period of time and with certain criteria met. And so
Right.
that he's bringing them in basically 4 steps under the, because everybody's like on step 8. So he's bringing them in at step 4, around step 4, and then we've developed a 90-day and a 180-day increase with the appropriate performance.
Sounds like a good plan. So in the ambulance department, Rachel Hogan was a change from $18.08 per hour to $18.90 per hour, effective March 21st. The reason is a 3-month raise for satisfactory performance, a 2-step increase. Just like Tina explained.
So I told you,
Next.
The company that we have contracted with for quite a few years for the monitoring out of the Marion County landfill has terminated our agreement. They sent us a letter saying they are no longer able to provide services. They did make a recommendation of another firm, and I believe Sharon is meeting with them and getting a proposal for all of you. But I just wanted to make you aware of it, that will be Jack Chappelle and his group. They're not gonna be able to help us anymore, so.
They've been doing that since the beginning, haven't they?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So, they're no longer offering some of those same services that they, so I think they're just shifting what they're doing. On the table, you all have a recommendation for appointment for the Marion County Mental Health Advisory Committee. And this is a replacement for Norma Dirksen, and the new appointee that is recommended is Reverend Margaret Johnson in Hillsborough.
Okay. Any questions from the commission? I guess before we make a motion, I want to thank Norma Dirksen for her service on the board. And then I would move to accept Reverend Margaret Johnson as a replacement on the Marion County Advisory Committee for Prairie View.
My second.
Second by Commissioner Dahlke. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Sounds like the city of Marion is going to be holding a training session on open records and open meetings. And I was asked to see if any of the commissioners are interested in attending that. It wouldn't be any cost to any of you to attend.
When?
But I would, the date has not been set
Oh.
yet. So I just was asked to see if you all had any interest in participating.
how long a session is it, all day, or?
Those are great questions.
Nobody-
There are no answers.
Okay.
It's a thought. It's something thrown at the wall to see if it sticks.
I'll volunteer.
Okay,
I will.
okay. All right.
I've been the one at Wichita State that they put on the state.
Wichita
puts
State
on.
is a good
It's-
one.
It's all day,
Yeah.
because you got half on Cora, half on Coma.
Yeah, and I don't know if they're getting that in-depth or if it's a shorter one, so. But I could let her know that maybe we got a couple that would attend. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
It's on a good day.
Yeah, I like to present a little more information about it before I ask, but there was none, so, I think they're trying to gauge interest before they move forward,
If they have
so.
two, they may not have.
I'm just like a kid, I'm ready to go.
There you go, that's good. Okay, we do have an early check.
Mhm.
The information was in your packet.
Commission's had a chance to review the early check. Is there any question?
Was this the company that he was discussing about, that they were, cars are a little cheaper?
I guess the only question I would have is if they checked with the government on governmental pricing before they did that.
Oh, he did, when he was in here, he said he basically couldn't find a better deal than this. And it's already fitted too.
Yeah.
Well, I understand.
That's-
Yeah, I remember.
I understand he administer that budget, but, you know, when it gets up to big dollars, we at least give the local dealer a chance under governmental pricing.
As I recall,
I think he
he did.
did. I think he tried to. It basically got told to go get it. There's no way.
There's a
Right.
used car, it had miles on
Yeah.
If you'd like me to see if you can come back over, and you're welcome to ask him questions.
No, my
We can
question
table
is,
it.
Is this the company that he was discussing? I couldn't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it was, they renovate, so they're already outfitted. And that was the thing, if you went with another, just bought the vehicle, then he's got to have
Right,
it all.
you gotta equip it.
Is what I remember the discussion, yeah.
Equipping a car is no fun. It's
Right.
funny. I have to,
I think I remember.
local dealers, if it's within a certain amount of dollars. I
Sure,
mean,
absolutely.
yeah.
I remember having the discussion with him. And
Yes.
okaying it at that time, so.
Do you want the sheriff to come over or?
Randy, you want it?
No, I just.
I can talk to him personally.
Okay. Okay, then is there a motion to approve the $39,400?
it. I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Crowfoot, second by Commissioner Garrett. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. And that's all I have right now. So,
Okay.
I don't know if you have time to do yours
No,
or if you want to wait till.
we won't bore people more than that. We'll do it later on. I think we're gonna have some gaps in the agenda later. Any progress on the planning committee appointment from District 3?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna keep asking every week.
That's your warning.
That's your warning. We gotta fill that position. Not gonna drop it.
Having one person willing to fill it, you got two.
Huh?
You made
You get
yours
two, right?
You
Yeah.
got two.
Yeah, they're both good candidates.
Yeah,
I had to choose one.
man. Went from one problem to the other.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well, Tammy, welcome.
Oh.
We're gonna have you come up to the microphone besides Commissioner Dahlke, because we do have people online so that they can hear
Okay.
our conversation today.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you putting me on the agenda. I just want to start with a quote from J.R.R. Tolkien. It's all that is gold does not glitter, and not all those who wander are lost. And this pertains to what I'm asking for today. So one of the reasons I love this quote is because I think it's so representative of our county. We have a lot of assets that aren't necessarily glittering. You know, we don't have Disney World. We don't have the Grand Canyon. But we do have a lot of assets that are gold. We have a lot of cool things to show to folks that come from out of town. And I just hear this over and over from guests from Wichita, from Kansas City, from out of state, from outside of our country. They're just in awe. You know, they love our downtown, they love our lakes, they love these historic buildings that we have to offer. You know, they love all the outdoor things that we have to do around here. And so it's hard when I talk to people in Marion because they don't understand how cool of resources we have. And they don't get as excited as I do about them. So anyway, it's these comments from guests that have really inspired us at the Historic Elgin Hotel to create the Explore project. And what that project is it's a project focused on attracting tourists by offering tours that highlight these different pieces of gold that we have to offer. We have plans for a number of tours. These range from a historic tour to an agritourism tours. We have waterfall tours we already offer. It's a self-guided kind of thing. But trails tours, we'd like to do those. We'd like to have food and brewery tours to cemetery tours. Some of these tours include resources outside of our county, but a lot of them are focused solely on our county here, specifically the historic tour, which is what I'm going to talk about today. So I want you to think like Charleston, South Carolina. Who's been to Charleston before? Any of you? Oh my goodness, get out a little more. Boston, has anyone been to Boston? Okay, super. Well, I hope when you guys were in Boston, you did some of their cool tours, because they have a lot of cool tours there. They have ghost tours and historic tours, and the hop on, hop off bus tours. So envision some of that on a smaller scale here in Marion. That's what I'm after. And that's what the goal of this project is. So these types of tours are pretty rare in Kansas. I've done some research, and there's very few communities offering repetitive, regular tours that their guests and their tourists can sign up for. So the first of the tours that we hope to offer is actually the historic tour, and this tour will encompass exploration and history of the Elgin, our library, the courthouse, the museum, and our downtown buildings. And Peggy Blackman has joined me today because she's the author and creator of this specific tour, and she's going to be our first tour guide. Isn't she perfect for the job?
I've been around a long time.
Well, we've got to get this stuff recorded, you know,
Yes.
that you all know,
Yes.
because we're not all going to be around forever.
Yes.
And this is, you know, this is one of the plans for having a legacy, is having these tours in place. So we plan to train more guides as demand grows, but we're expecting this specific tour to be about 3 to 3.5 hours long. Guests will be shuttled around in a rented passenger van that the Elgin would be renting from Midway Motors, therefore giving us the option to be able to do it year-round. So it's not just going to be a summer thing. You know, initially I was like, I really want a walking tour, but you're a little limited to season there. And that can get ruined real easy around here, as we know. We expect to offer this tour on the weekends as well as on the weekdays. We feel like a large constituency that we'd be serving are available during the week. And so we would like to offer it during the week as well. And to start with, we're looking at 1 to 4 times a month. So not a ton. We're going to see how it goes. And then as we have more demand, we'll add more tours. So this is where we need your help. And this is why we're here today. We'd like to gain access to the courthouse and the courtroom on weekends and possibly evenings when the courthouse is normally closed. We'd also like permission to bring in guests during the week when the courthouse is open, but we wouldn't be showing the courtroom, you know, during the week. We don't want to mess with any normal operations. this access would also, it would just enable us to be able to show off this beautiful asset and give guests a visual representation of our history. And so Peggy's already done the historic tour for us as kind of a sample, like, and we weren't in the courthouse, so we parked over at the Marion Record, and she kind of told some of the history, but I thought this would be so much better if we could have some visual of this. Many of you probably know this already, but Chase County offers tours of their courthouse, and I frankly believe that our courthouse is a lot better than theirs. I mean, the placement of theirs is probably better, but the actual architecture and the detail is just much greater. So I think we're missing out on an opportunity, and I'd like to close the gap on that. So I'm just asking if you'd be so kind to consider giving us access to the courthouse. I don't know what that would look like. If like we could just have a golden key, or if there's a specific person that works for you that would come and unlock it and then relock it. I guess that's up for discussion, so.
I guess I would first turn it over to Tina for her thoughts, as she oversees the operation of the courthouse and logistics. And
There is not a golden key.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
especially if you want to look in the courtroom.
There's issues.
We have to make sure that we maintain security, and so
Yeah,
we wouldn't
absolutely.
be comfortable, I'm sure, with that.
That's a-
I have worked with groups before if they have wanted to come in at a certain time, but this sounds like a lot of time.
Right.
Potentially, and, so, and also, I mean, are these tours that are being sold? Or are
I
they?
mean, yeah, we'll have to sell them because we have to rent a van, and I need to pay Peggy and such, so.
Okay, so, because if to be able to have someone here, we would need to know specifics and have a way to communicate, and then also I have to pay my people to come
Right.
and open it
Right.
above and beyond regular hours, and plus it's a public building, so the selling, you know, I don't know if that causes any issue, you know?
Maybe there's some questions we need to explore
Yeah.
before, but this is the way you
Absolutely.
get the discussion started.
Right.
We raised the security issue, the
I mean,
financial issue.
it would just be that we would have to have someone here while
Right.
the tour is here
Okay,
to
that makes
open
sense.
and to be with the tour.
Right, and actually during business hours probably works better.
Well, even that, we would need to make
Sure,
sure
still
that,
need
you
to have
know,
somebody with.
because there might be some weekdays where we could see the courtroom.
Mhm.
They don't have court every day, but that has to all be coordinated.
Right,
So.
and that takes time on your part, or.
Well, and I don't
whoever's
mind
part.
that part if we're already here.
Right.
It's just a matter of knowing if this is a day we can go up there or not,
Right.
you know, so.
Okay, well, I wanted to start with Tina and
Yeah,
then turn to the rest of the
absolutely.
Probably need
commission.
to find out from insurance company where
Okay,
their stand would be
liability
on the
issue.
liability side.
Fine. That's good.
And we would be having, the guests sign a liability waiver before we go on the thing. I mean, to cover us, obviously, but also to cover the library, the museum.
Sure. Would be something that they could pay DS security, or we have the,
They don't have keys to the building.
okay.
I mean, that would be way more expensive than paying one of our staff people.
Right.
Yeah, I just saying.
Because they charge $40 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay, other thoughts?
Well, what you said about safety, we know that if they trip over a rug or something, we've had lawsuits on that, from the public. So we gotta take care of that, city insurance. This waiver deal sounds like a good deal, that sounds like a good thing that can happen. And then if there's one of our employees somewhere that would like to work with this, I think maybe the commission could help a little bit and help someone pay, I don't know, give, if they want a couple hours overtime or whatever it would be, or to do this once or twice a month, why, I'm willing to make that sacrifice to see our building.
With the
But-
tour company can pay them too.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, but then what about security to open doors, because every door's locked, right? Or a lot of doors are locked inside the building?
Well, I don't know, yeah, that's something else we need to know,
Yeah.
how much they wanna see.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, because of coming into each office or so.
There'd have to be a plan,
Yeah.
a route,
Mhm. Right.
you know, which rooms.
So plan, layout, plan, but I'd like one to see the courtroom.
Sure.
It-
Yeah,
it-
courtroom's a jewel.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I haven't even seen all the courthouse, so.
And Tina already has a very good script on the history, and that could work with Peggy.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's,
That would be
Tina
wonderful.
took, I guess when we first came on, took us on a tour, and then I got a copy of the script.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we could find out from Chase County how they facilitate it.
There's
Because
already
if they're doing it, they've got a plan.
right, there's a process.
Yeah.
And we don't have to reinvent the wheel. Well, it looks like we need to do some research.
Okay.
I don't think there's a firm no at this point. I think at this point, what I'm reading is an interest in answering these questions.
Yeah,
And then see what
absolutely.
we can do. So the questions I've put together are security, using courthouse staff, liability insurance. and-
Well, I mean, we do have liability insurance
Right.
that covers guests of the, like, covers
Okay.
patrons.
Okay.
But the liability waiver, you know, I think if our attorney looked over what they have,
Yeah.
that should be sufficient, if we have a liability waiver,
Okay.
that would cover that. And the security issue would be resolved by, facilitating it through county staff who are already, authorized.
And I guess the question then I would have from your direction is like a tour route. Which rooms would you want to see? Obviously courthouse.
Do you have a thought on that?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
You know, primarily just the overall, at one time in the 70s, I believe it was during the bicentennial years, you painted the walls and so forth according to the Victorian days and so forth. We, of course, just a major hall. The fireplaces that's in what was the automobile license or exam room now, I'm really not sure.
Same here.
Right there.
Yeah.
Same one.
There's one right here in the
Oh.
corner.
Yes, well, we
Yeah.
could do, just this room
Yeah.
would be fine. The courtroom would be fine.
Yep.
You know, the beautiful staircases,
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Right.
We wouldn't, I don't think per se we would have to go into each office.
Right.
I don't see that at all. It's
Good.
just the structure
Sure.
and, you know, how well you've taken care of our
Right.
beautiful courthouse.
I guess in my mind, I'd structure a courtroom, the hallways and stairways, and then maybe like the commission room would be a good one to
Right,
see.
I don't see any need to go into the basement
Right.
at this point unless I learn from Tina that there's something we can't miss down there.
Well, elevator may.
We have the elevator, yes.
Right, so we may have to enter that through the basement to access the elevator.
Yeah.
You know, persons that need that.
Yeah, the handicapped entrance would be.
Yes, we would come in through the handicap door because we would coordinate the library and the
Sure.
courthouse. That's what we did on the example tour that we conducted.
Good.
And I will tell you that we had 15 people in here Saturday. They're coming back to Marion because of the taste that they got Saturday. They came only to our museum, they went out to Augie's, and then I had them stop by the Elgin. And the Elgin was quite the hit, of course. And now they're planning on coming back and spending the day with us.
Mhm.
So this is the type of thing, they won't be staying at the Elgin per se for this particular tour, but, you know, so there's people that are interested and we're missing out. We're missing out bringing the people into our community to see what treasures we have.
Very good.
Because there has been bus tours 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes,
We had bus tours.
we hope to
Relative-
be able to bring those back.
Yeah.
About 50 people at a time.
Yeah. And we've had some bus tours at the Elgin. There are some challenges with the bus tours because there's a lot of people. And it's a little hard to do a tour, especially without any kind of, you know, equipment to throw your voice or
Right,
whatever.
We had the bus.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that bus.
Got used about twice a year.
And I'll just mention this, I mean, I don't know if we're gonna get this was a far stretch, but I have applied for a grant to buy bus. for this purpose. So we should know in May if we get that or not. So that would allow us to have a few more people too.
I think if this, just do the hallways in the courtroom, because an office is an office.
Right,
Yeah.
And you don't want them walking around people's desks
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
and messing up the piles of paper.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues.
Yeah. But it could come in here.
I wouldn't miss the fireplace.
Yeah, I mean,
Right,
it's pretty
yes,
fantastic.
You know, that's part of the original,
Yes,
and that's the type of thing we want them to see.
yes.
So,
And at least this room, I may be wrong, but I don't think there's really security. As much so as, say, the clerk's office, register of deeds, treasurer's office. I don't think at this point that'd be appropriate either.
and our tours will not be all that large. It will be, you know, maybe 5, maybe 10 at the most, maybe 15 occasionally. So we're not looking at a whole 20 or 30 people
Yep.
coming in at a time. That's my perspective on it.
Mhm.
Other. Okay, then what I'm reading as consensus is to follow up, do a little more research on security and insurance and a few of these other details, and then work together to see if we can get something to work, because the courthouse is a true
Cool.
jam.
It's really
The
good.
sad part is, those of us that live here don't appreciate it,
I know.
because we see it every day.
Exactly.
Now, Commissioner Becker and Commissioner Balke have been through with Tina a lot of the renovation and her efforts, so they've put a lot of work into maintaining the structure that we have. But when you
And
see
you're
it every
on the-
day, you don't appreciate it.
Right, and you're on the National Register of Historic
Yes.
Places
Yeah.
too.
And it is,
Where there's quite a few places like that in our community.
yeah, it's phenomenal
Right.
building, so if we can share that,
Yeah.
we want to be able to do that.
Is there further information or research that you need from me in order to make a decision?
Okay.
You wanna, check on the, Chase County,
I sure can, yeah.
maybe, because everybody's busy.
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah. I'd be happy to.
A copy of the liability waiver when it's developed,
Okay.
because the attorney will want to look at that.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't have that at this point, so,
Okay.
but certainly we would put that together.
Okay, very good.
All right, well, thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate coming up with the
Yes.
ideas to bring people to our community
Yeah.
and see the jobs we
We
have.
want to keep doing it, so.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
How far ahead are you gonna have those calendars, like knowing what dates those are gonna be?
That's a great question. I haven't really established an answer to that.
Okay.
But in the realm of marketing, I like to at least have it out 2 months ahead. Because, you know, people are, and this wouldn't be specifically like only for people who's staying at the Elgin. It would be open to anyone, so.
I have been conducting some personal tours when people have contacted me personally outside of the Elgin. I've cleared that with Tammy. So, but I will not be bringing them inside the courthouse.
We could during the week, I guess.
I'm sorry?
It's open to the public during the week.
Yes, I've done them during the week, so yes, I could do that. I could bring them in.
Always are.
We just wanted to get permission
Sure.
before we started.
Right, I would let you know.
Yeah.
I know, you know, I ask for at least 2 weeks to a month to know when a tour's coming in.
Have you run your tour guide through the KBI to make sure she's safe?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I would do that, yeah, I would do that.
Get that background check.
Background checks on everyone.
Exactly. I think Peggy's would be pretty shining, so. All right.
Very
Well,
good,
thank you
great.
again.
Thank you, Tammy. Thank you, Peggy.
Mhm.
All right, we had the health department for 1:15. I see Krista's here. The commission okay moving ahead, or do you want to wait till 1:15?
Susan's not here?
No, Susan will not be on.
Okay. Move ahead.
Okay, Krista?
Krista?
I know this never happens, but we're going to move you.
Okay.
we had an opening in our agenda, so if it's okay, we'll start a few minutes early.
Yeah. Well, the Safe Kids trailer.
Yes.
I sent information off last week to Brad on that, because I think our next step was the legal
The agreement.
agreement. I called his office this morning just to see where that was at. I haven't had a response back.
Okay.
But I don't know if there's anything that we need to do at this.
So you've provided him the.
I sent the title and the emails and yeah, last week.
Okay, well, he should be here this afternoon, maybe you'll have something with him at that point.
Okay.
But I believe it's in his court for now.
I mean, they're gonna have to go to Texas and pick this up pretty soon. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should get the trailer and tune it up before they take
Right.
off with it.
Right.
They gotta go pick up the display.
Who is?
Fire department, I don't know.
I was just wondering if the work's not done by then.
How that looks or what that, yeah, or what that looks like, or if there's a way to expedite it, or they were wanting, it sounded like the trailer, they were wanting to pick it up May 4th, which is not this Friday, but next Friday.
How about if we ask him specifically today, if he's here?
Yes.
And see if he can get this done.
Yes.
And if we can get it done this week, they can get it in their name then.
Yep.
Just, that's, just need to look at it before they take off. That only gives them a couple of days. Could we let them use it?
Well, that was my question, but I just see insurance coming up again.
Well,
Going to Texas.
They got a vehicle that they're pulling them with. They will be covered.
Yeah, usually when you pull a trailer, it goes
Your-
onto your.
Your insurance covers it. I could pull your trailer.
Yeah,
and
but
it'll be covered.
if you had an accident and found, and the title says so-and-so, you're implicated.
Well, there's still a matter of getting the title transferred, and that needs to be for definitely before they go.
Ran it to the fire department.
Well, let's talk to Brad, find out where we're at. See
I
if
know
we can
where
do-
we're at.
Yeah, I know.
Right here.
Yes.
Well, that'd
I
be
mean,
fine.
it's out of time.
Get our attorney to do it then.
Good luck.
Well, I had mentioned it to him also that we needed it for today.
Okay.
But
So maybe-
I didn't get a response, so maybe he does have
Yeah.
something that he'll be bringing with him when he comes.
That's what before we take any action, let's hear what he has. So find out for sure. If it's already written up and ready to go, then we're good. If not, then we've got to look at.
I wouldn't have no problems if they wanted to take the trailer, Dave, and get it ready to go. I wouldn't have no problem with that, but we gotta get the paperwork.
We gotta get the paper.
So they could work on it without taking it out of town.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that, it's the rest commission.
Be fine.
How much work has to be done to it?
What?
New bearings, probably?
Nobody's touched it for 10 years.
Ron needs new bearings.
I'd sure pull the wheels off and look at it.
Yeah.
Probably need to check the wiring.
All you have to do is plug it in.
Yeah, but they probably need to pack the wheel bearings.
Well, maybe we can let you know after today, or get it
Okay.
today.
Yeah, as soon as we can find out. Brad.
Yeah.
New tires.
Should be all we have to do is sign it.
New
shouldn't
hitch,
it?
new hitch.
All right, anything else on the trailer?
No, that's it, just kind of waiting to see, so I can provide direction to the fire.
Any other department business?
No, I know that we have building on there, and I didn't know if there was some stuff that you guys wanted to go over today on that.
Okay. Well, that's, would be our next step, for as far as the commission is to decide how they're gonna proceed on the building itself. As we left it last week, we were still on the path of trying to come up with a concept on the commission. Since then, there's been a couple other options brought up that we could pursue, but again, it's up to the commission on how they want to do it. So one option would be, we still struggle internally trying to come up with a design. Second option would be to proceed with a request for qualifications from an architect to draw up a design, working with the commission, so the architect would be part of planning and design of the building. And then the third option is just to move right into, as I believe you did on the ambulance building, which would be the design build or cost plus process. So those are the three options I see. I'm sorry, Tina?
Well, just on design, build,
Yes.
cost plus.
Yes.
Some federal funding prevents
Correct.
that, and I think our Fed, I would have to double check
Okay.
on that to see if we can even do that with them.
Okay.
Because some federal fund things specifically disallow that type of.
That would be a disadvantage of going that
Yeah.
route. We could maybe save some upfront money by not hiring an architect, but then we may sacrifice the possibility of funding or grant,
Yeah.
or even using the ARPA funds, which makes the second option the more. But again, it's the commission's decision on how you want to proceed.
Don't we have do we have a price range to get an architect to do this?
From $10,000 to $40,000. Depends on how far along you went.
And that would be, the first step would be to put out a request for qualifications. They would put in bids for the design, planning and design work.
Guess that's the first step. We've got to see a plan. I don't want to spend that kind of money.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what we'll find out when we get the results from the requests. You can review them, you can say, we're not gonna do any of them, or you can pick one and move forward.
So we put out a request for proposal then. Can you make that motion?
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Dalkey to proceed with drafting a request for qualifications for proposal. I'm never sure which is the correct. For an architect firm to work with the commission and Krista on planning and design for the public health building. And the commission would then still, at a later date, have to approve design. Would that be your
Yep,
motion?
that would be the motion.
Tina, any suggestions on the wording?
Is the RFP going to include the oversight of the construction as well? Or are you looking for someone, an architectural firm to do all of it, including the oversight of the project?
It's your motion, so I'm gonna let you throw out for your opinion.
Say no.
I mean, like when we did the windows, the one
Mhm.
firm drew it all up, did the bids, oversaw the project, made sure that they were following the plans.
We get 'em
Is
to-
that what I'm putting
Get 'em
in, what
to
we're
bid it
putting in?
both ways,
I was gonna say, let's try that.
just for the concepts,
Yeah.
and then one for the
Yeah.
Okay.
whole thing?
Yeah.
The only
Sounds
thing
good.
in my mind that comes up is if we do the design, then we could open it to some of our other general contractors that could oversee it. And I
So
would
this
want them
is
to
just
have a
design
chance.
services right now?
Well, like Randy and Kent were asking for both, but then I don't want to exclude local general contractors from having a shot at.
No, right.
But at the same time, I don't want to miss out on
So then,
information.
so then, the only thing you wanna ask for is just the conceptual drawings.
Yeah.
Yeah, planning and design. I mean,
I think you're beyond concept. I think what Randy's
Planning
motion
is the-
was for the actual design.
Design, okay. Well, I can,
that then we approve.
I can rescind that motion and just go back to concept then to make sure that it's, if you wanna come back a little bit, Tina, is what I'm saying, we can do that.
I'm just trying to make sure I understand
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
your motion includes.
You already have a
So-
concept though, don't you?
I think one of the like, someone had used the terminology, and I don't know
Okay.
anything about, but like basic architectural plan,
Mhm.
is that what you wanna term it?
Jonah, I'm gonna ask for you.
Jonah, do you
I
know
don't
what
think
with
so.
that?
I think it's design phase.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think so too.
Just designed to see that it's, you got everything that you need.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
The commission looks it over and says, well, maybe you don't need this, maybe you do need this.
Uh-huh.
It fits the spot too.
And it fits the spot, fits the location. And that's what I need to see to vote yes
Yes.
on.
Gotcha.
And I guess that's where I'm at, rather
Yeah.
than going into actual supervising the,
Okay.
to me, that's the next step.
Yeah.
So it's
We've gotta
just
have a
planning design
plan
and not
design,
any oversight.
And then the commission has to approve that design.
And-
Once we approve the design, then we can, I mean, is that reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah, no, that's fine, that's fine. Because we do have to have,
Whether
we
you-
gotta have a plan, what's gonna happen.
Whether
whether
you
later
accept
on.
it or deny it, though, you're still paying for it.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's why I brought up the third
So-
option.
So paying the $10,000 to get it, so.
Right, but if you don't, then you're not eligible for.
But we know what it's gonna cost. It may not be a $10,000 cost, but there may be
Yeah,
more than
but
that.
there'll be in the proposal how
Yes.
much
Mhm.
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
deny all of them.
And with this, we have a person that has worked with different things locally. We have used him down there. Are we gonna have only an architect, or can a person come in with a bid plan? Well, we gotta have design, he'd have to have
I
design.
think it has to be a stamp architect
Okay.
for, if you're going for the.
So he could submit his design too.
We have to have stamped engineer drawings anyway, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Crawford. More discussion. I will see, I do believe that's the right track to take, is to come up with a plan design.
To fit that, and everybody's happy with it.
At the end of that, everyone needs to be on board with the design. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carried 4-1. Motion carried 4-1.
Okay.
We'll work on getting the
The
RFP or Q.
RFP.
RFQP.
QP.
30 foot.
I think that's a very logical approach.
For driveway.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Krista.
Thank you.
88 by 68 going
What's that? How much would it be?
in.
Do you wanna do your
This is 88 by 64.
Yes.
And, well, what would you wanna move
Yeah.
I was
out?
thinking there was something else.
And that would leave 30
Do you wanna
foot.
do the RFP for the,
3 sides of the building.
Admin?
Do the driveway.
Yes, let's do that. If that, if Brad shows up early, we can move into.
You know, right there's 5,400.
okay,
Yeah, but.
Okay,
get
so
two
we
wide.
will move
No, that's less than yours.
RFP for executive search firm, county
Two for
administrator to the current top.
Yeah.
Okay, once we get it.
Okay.
Okay, everybody got it?
Go ahead.
We're through. We're gonna adjust the agenda. If that meets the approval of the commission, we'll bring up the discussion on the RFP for the executive search firm, county administrator. Any objection?
No.
Okay, no objection. It's
Okay.
in your packet. Appreciate Tina putting together, what, I think, 6 different.
yeah, I kind of just
Taking the
put
best
some
from
feelers
each.
out and tried to find a few that had recently done it, and so I got several and just kind of,
Right. So, comments from the commission?
Looks to be very well put together to me, but I'm just a layman.
And ask what's the question.
Yes.
Ready to move forward.
Okay, so, is that a motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a motion.
I think it addresses everything that
Yes.
needs to be there.
Tina did a very, very thorough job.
Issue RFP date May 1. Oh, I guess that is just around the corner.
Yeah, it's.
right, that gives us a chance to get a list together
Yeah,
and
yeah.
to make sure we have the advertisement and
Yep,
everything.
yep, yep. And everybody's had a chance to look at the schedule. Any questions or concerns on the schedule? I think it really falls into Tina's court because it's gonna be right during budget season.
Gonna be fun.
but at least it's not the actual search.
Right.
You're just gonna be getting proposals back. And you've already accumulated a list.
We've started a list and we can be a little bit more extensive now that you're ready to potentially move forward, then we can get a few more.
Right. And it'll be advertised as well, so. Okay, motion by Commissioner Garing to proceed with the RFP.
Second.
P for the county administrator, second from Commissioner Becker. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. I hear 5 and 0.
No, you didn't hear that. Yes, yay. You may have a nay later.
Okay, 5 and 0 at this point.
Okay.
Again, thank you for putting that together.
You're welcome.
Oh, this is really weird, having time.
Bryce, right?
With the executive for non-elected.
How long do you want?
5 minutes. Just the board.
Just the board, okay. I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss personnel performance, non-elected personnel pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance, with just the commission for 5 minutes, 1:22 to 1:27.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Garing. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Calling it 5 and 0. Be back at 1:27.
The light's still on.
Before we went.
We just move him up.
No, he should be coming in now anyway. right?
This conference will now be
Actually,
recorded.
2.
We can move Brad.
You
Bryce.
want
Bryce.
to text Bryce?
Yeah. See if he.
Oh, she got it? Looked
I
like you were
wasn't
already
going
on.
to. Yeah, I was just looking at.
Okay, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. We might do another agenda jumble, if Bryce would be available. We'd have him.
Here he
come.
comes.
Yeah.
Look at that, man.
I heard you talking about it before, so I thought I'd just
Wow.
come up.
Bryce, have a seat. We'd love to see you sit right here, bud.
Okay.
This is very unusual. We're ahead of schedule.
Yeah, second mic on.
Yep.
But we appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, no problem.
Before we start, I want to tell you the commission had a lot of favorable comments about your summary last week
Okay.
that you brought up.
You can do that every week, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
If we could do a written summary, that helps us communicate to constituents.
At least once a month, or every other week or something.
But it was
Okay.
very helpful.
Sounds good.
We appreciate it.
I mean, if that
Now,
works
did you get it
out-
all done? I know some of it you did.
If that works out, maybe you could come in here less.
That's an incentive.
I know.
Yeah, let's let that one go.
Request for transport fuel bids, app service was done low. Quite a bit, actually. So
Yeah.
The volatility right now is
Yeah.
just incredible.
Somewhere.
I mean, just 10 cents every couple days is just crazy. So,
Okay, we have a motion.
Epps.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Garing to accept Bryce's recommendation of Epps bid. I guess I should read it, sorry. Epps bid of $24,205.55 over MFA bid $26,393.20.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion? Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
all right, well, speaking of rebuilds, we're in the process of trying to get the air conditioner, one of our big tractors fixed. We have some electrical issues, but if we get both those big tractors up and going, my plan is to hopefully set up a rebuild crew. next week to start working on a bunch of roads. Basically gonna have to put a big old plan and everything else, but several roads in mind. We are also, I don't know if any of you have been up there, we got the culverts installed for the was still a culvert, but it had the concrete walls and everything on it, just south of 280th on Bluestem. We got that taken out, got a railroad car put in there. End of last week went into the 260th bridge below there, removed a bunch of trees, took out a bunch of dirt from underneath that bridge, and was hauled up to the culvert at 270th in Bluestem. That's the one we'd lost the wing wall and it was falling and everything else. So they took that out, and by 10 o'clock this morning had the culvert put back in already. And now we're in the process of trying to find enough dirt to backfill it. The plan there is to change the not only vertical but horizontal alignment a little bit, because you go up and down and back and kind of a bad geometric. So we will at least get it done to where it's passable today. And we'll probably put some rock on it just to make sure that it's passable if and when it rains. So got all that going on. So culvert wise, man, we've been putting in a bunch of culverts lately. Steve and the culvert crew have been doing a very good job, so keeping up on that. Got some good news and bad news. The HRRR project. It's the first one on 290th east of 77. I got a call last week. It scored very, very well. So that's the good news. They're not officially awarding it yet. The bad news is, and that's been known to me or anybody else, is the HRRR project does not allow bridge replacement.
Seriously?
It allows bridge widening, but not bridge replacement. So they said that they wanted to know an estimate for what that bridge, that one bridge to be replacement, would be.
Well, it's still a widening.
I understand. I tried to. It didn't
It's
work.
still clear cut.
So,
It has to, the
yes.
structure has to stay, and you only widen the structure.
Yes.
To be eligible.
And he said it basically comes down to the federal guidelines or something under this program, and
It just seems like it'd be so much safer to replace.
I tried to argue, and he just said that's the way it is. So it sounds like that once we can get that estimate, he said they wouldn't make any decision yet this week, but as soon as we get that estimate back, and I actually talked to a consultant that we've worked with before to get their engineering estimate on that. So if we get that back to them, it sounds like that we'd have a very strong chance of getting the project minus that bridge. So then we turned around and said, okay, can we turn that bridge in? Because we still have the local bridge improvement program and the bridge set-aside program that we could turn around, and hopefully we would hear back in time that we could turn around and submit that bridge for that. So, like I said, both good and bad sound like a very, very strong chance of.
Is this a Europe bridge?
Yes. So.
No.
No?
No, this
No,
is
it's
not
a-
the Iraq Bridge.
it's
This
the
is
one-
the second one
My
east.
thing.
Second one east of 15.
East,
It's-
second one
it's-
east of
yeah,
15?
It's a span steel. I think it's a steel beam span bridge, and that's why I said we had to go out to new structure because there was really no way to widen it. If you have a multi-span culvert, you can actually extend it and stuff like that. With a bridge, you basically have to start all over, basically build whole new abutment, piers, and everything else.
So I was thinking of the wrong bridge. Now I understand.
Right.
Then what about the Yurok Bridge?
We have not heard back on that one yet.
Because that would be the same way, wouldn't it? Wasn't that a replacement?
And that wasn't for high-risk rural road.
Correct. That was the next project.
That was another
That was the cost share.
application, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
going after a bunch of different funding,
Yeah.
so.
And that's kind of the problem, is the fact is it'd be nice if it was just, boom, here you go. So, but anyway, so I'm at least working on that, but even if we could get most of the funds to do the rest of the project, we could still deal with that, so.
So we have to follow federal guidelines on any bridge.
For this program.
High-risk
Yes,
rural roads.
for this program.
Cost share, you would not.
Right. Yeah, it's it's creative accounting, if you want to say. It's like the stuff you're dealing with. I heard you talking about Krista. Anything to do with the federal stuff there, you have to have an architect. Yeah. So, but anyway, like I said, that's the information I had. So, yeah. Tina, did you forward the email from, that I sent, what was that one, for look-see?
Watershed?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it.
Everybody got that? Okay, I guess the question is, do you guys want Brian to come in and talk to you, or how do you want to proceed?
Commissioner Talkie went out and looked at it with
Yep.
Bryce.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts? It's your district.
Well, I personally would like to see 90th done, but that's not, they're not in favor, this board is not in favor of that. 90th is a busy traveled road, 80th is nothing. When it's water across there, even if you do this culvert, and I should have brought my camera in, I took pictures of the bridge or culvert there on, right off of, about 200 foot off, or 300 foot?
About 300 foot, yeah.
Off of Indigo. It drops down to a lower bottom ground, a little flat. The bridge is actually high, and then it drops to low ground that floods. So, no matter what you put in for a bridge there, you've got there's an area on the south that's a wooded area, and you can see when it floods that it cuts through there 3 times, I think we found.
3 or 4 times.
3 or 4 times that it cuts through that.
Yeah.
Because of high water.
Yeah.
So, our bridges, we're not spending our money wisely.
You're not eliminating flood.
No, we're not eliminating the flood.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's, it's sort of tough to do. I mean, I don't understand why they would not go to another place and try doing something, you know. I guess, and also Bryce explained the 90th deal, that it's gonna be one of those 8 or 9 inch rains. It's not a very often deal
Right.
that's gonna happen. The water's supposed to
If
cross
the
the
water
road.
goes above the roadway.
Goes above the roadway. But when it does happen, who are they calling? They're calling this guy.
Yeah.
And if we could eliminate that in the one area that's there, that would be more sense to me. But I don't know, that there apparently was this was discussion before I was a commissioner too, with the way the book reads, right?
It's been in the works for like 20-some years.
So what is our actual commitment from the agreement 20-some years ago?
The only thing that was the discussion was, and I actually looked it up, I should have brought it, was the commission at the time approved the agreement with the watershed that they would allow the water, that the water could come up and over the road.
Okay.
Basically that's all the formal agreement. But like I said, that's all it's been since they've been working on it.
Okay. So there's no agreement that we have to do.
Well, there's no agreement, but what he's basically saying is that they've got approval now to do the watershed dam. The sooner that they can get this mitigation and everything else taken care of, then they can start the project. Well, again, I proposed all these different areas too, and they didn't like any of them, which I thought would be more, more beneficial for us. But like we talked about, I know in 2019 when I went down there was 3 or 4 places where the water's across the road, you had to drive through water. In order for us, even if we put up this bridge, even just a single span bridge, we'd probably have to raise that road he's talking about west of there, probably, I'd hate to guess, 4 or 5 feet, just to get it up high enough to have any kind of chance of keeping the water there.
A distance from here to the jailhouse wall, over there, the back wall, that far.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just a little distance, it's quite a ways.
And again, this is a minimum traveled road.
Yes.
Minimum
You
travel.
go,
No houses.
yeah, almost 2 miles before you run across.
How much of it would they be paying for though?
Well, that's the other thing. They don't have a specific, they deal in credits. And I said, how much is a credit? He said, we'd be looking, I think he said between $120,000 to $150,000. Now, he said that we could go put in a single span bridge for $50,000, and I said, no way. Well, Dickinson County is putting up their own structures. They're 20-foot structures. No concrete decks, whatever else, they're doing it themselves, but that's all this crew does. A 20-foot span for $50,000.
they're doing like an Andy Bridge, is what we
Yes.
used to do an Andy Bridge.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah.
is a 40-foot,
Yeah, so.
and you can't do 220.
Well,
so you have
and
to
yeah,
do 40.
and the materials were, you'll probably, he said $30,000 for the materials for a 20-foot, so for a 40-foot, you'd probably be up in the 50,000 range, because your piling would probably be the same. But again, that's them doing it. If I mean, every project that we've turned around, as far as bridges and everything else, we're at least 150,000 plus, if not more. And then we still have to turn around and do all that extra dirt work and stuff like
So
that.
you'd about have to contract the dirt hauled in, that much dirt be a lot.
That's a
Well,
phenomenal.
There's a lot of dirt available going up and over the hill to the west, but again, with our little scraper, it would take us probably a month. So yes, now you're turning
Just
around
take it out of
and
the
contracting that.
watershed. Give
Yeah.
them a deeper basin.
Do what?
Take it out of the watershed and give them a deeper basin.
Well, no, that was actually brought up, that he said the landowner would donate the material coming out of that area, and I said, well, I don't think I'd be able to go in there and excavate out of a floodplain. And he said, yes, you can excavate, you just can't fill it. Well, again, that's something that we'd have to deal with there. I told him I'd just like to stay out of the floodplain regardless.
Sure.
You know, it's just a no-win situation, and then the like he was talking about, as the water goes through there, it goes south about 100 feet, and then takes off almost at a 90 degrees and goes west, parallels the road, and there's places there where the road's probably approximately where the elevation of the water is.
Close.
So,
The only thing that Bryce give, that I didn't talk to Bryce about that, as I looked at it afterwards, is he gives some other locations not in this taxing soil district, this watershed.
watershed district, yeah.
And there's tax dollars that comes from every taxpayer in that district for this watershed, so that would be my only, whatever we do, that the work stays in that watershed. That's for, due to the tax dollars.
Well,
So-
and that's the way I understand it was, I think 4 of those projects that I talked to him about would all be in that Doyle Creek watershed.
Oh, it was, okay.
Because he said it basically all the way from Lehigh down around Nighthawk or thereabouts and straight south, everything from there west would be in the Doyle Creek watershed. So, but without specifically knowing, but, and just like, you know, several, well, I mean, we look at the same thing as 1/30th is bad, 1/60th is bad, 1/90th is bad. Those would all be in that watershed district. So, but like I said, I
So
want to make.
Quail Creek and Old Mill are not eligible, but Blue Stem.
Blue Stem would be in the other watershed, district.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
Yeah, so basically what he, and we actually talked about this 3-4 years ago, that the Blue Stem project up there, they're getting ready to build another watershed district west of there. And,
This is, I mean, it's not exact because we made it.
Yeah.
That's what we show.
so maybe that's, well, that's even more, or doesn't
Yeah.
include this, but I just was going by what he said.
Yeah, I
So-
don't know, I just thought all the Lehigh's water went through Cottonwood, I mean, over that, I don't know.
But anyway, I guess it just comes down to the fact is I feel a little
Number 5. is-
uncomfortable, and the fact is that they're pushing and pushing and pushing for this one spot, and like I said, I think, I mean, other than, like you said, there's taxpayers paying for these projects that, you know, is it really the best use of those funds? But if the commission wants us to do it, then that's what we'll do, but we're not gonna do it for that kind of price they're talking about either.
That's our
Allow-
expense, right? That's what they,
Everything above whatever they give would be our expense. That money would actually come from, their money would actually come to the watershed, that actually comes from NRCS, the way I understand it, or something to that effect.
we allowed them to contract it, but it's on them. Could we do that? No different than we would contract somebody to build a road?
I don't know,
And then that way-
they're basically turning around and saying that this is that we would have to take care of everything above whatever they're offering. Now, again, I don't know where they're coming up with their estimates, but I mean, you know, even if we spent $75,000 for this bridge, That still only leaves us less than 75,000 to do everything else. We can't contract that. But I mean, we would be way above that to contract it out as well.
No, I just meant, that would basically allow them, like, we're not a roadblock.
Right.
We're allowing them to use the county right away at their expense.
Yeah. Now, the other thing is, in order
And
to,
if they can't make it swing, then they can't be mad at us.
yeah, the other thing, in order to probably make this work, there's a possibility of having to buy more easement. If you raise that up to build a bridge, you're gonna have to have more easement, probably on both sides to make your ditches and everything else as well. So that brings up another issue of buying that easement. So, like I said, these are all, I mean, I'm going by what he's telling me, and I don't know if there's something that he could tell you that would be different to me, but
Is this the engineer or
this is the contracting officer for the Bill Creek Watershed, Brian Lane.
contracting officer?
Easements become $20,000 an acre.
Yeah, he basically goes out and does a lot of their engineering work and stuff like that, and the coordination work. I don't quite understand it, it's the federal government way of doing
Yeah.
things, but,
Yeah.
so. Or I could, I mean, I'd try to go back and meet with him, like I said, I sent you the information that he had sent me back.
Does the commission want him to come in next week, or is there any?
I think we go by the recommendations of our department head and our commissioner.
What, that's what I was wondering, whether we talked to their board or?
Well, and again, I don't know whether it would actually take
Curious to see.
talk to the Doyle Creek Watershed themselves, or if you know of anybody.
Well, the thing is, he's the one that knows all the details of the program.
Right.
It's gonna be kinda like us trying to explain the federal grant programs, like,
Yeah,
and that's what he does for different watersheds around the state.
right.
I see.
And I still don't understand, like Bryce said, I still don't understand the grant, credit thing.
You know, a credit would be X number of dollars, I'm guessing.
Well,
Yeah, well,
it's a
he said, I remember he
fluid
said
number.
1,300 or 13,000 credits, and then a credit was worth X amount, you know, so.
But it's not really like,
And
they
in that-
write you a check. Usually a credit means you won't have to pay a bill for a while.
Right. You're just not getting a bill for it.
Yeah.
In that, have you seen the agreement, Tina?
No,
I haven't either. I'm just saying, in that agreement, it don't say that we have to expend any money.
Yeah. And all it said was to allow flooding, right?
Yes, that's what I'm hearing. So.
I mean, there was a resolution way back that the commissioners signed to allow flooding of
Roads.
Right.
90th, I think. I think that was a
Yes.
resolution.
Yes.
Okay.
So we just happened to come upon it one time when we were doing some other work, so
Yeah.
Judy sent that to Bryce.
Yeah.
I haven't researched this, I don't even really know.
And basically, that's all it said was that the commission and author, that understands that as part of this project, that, you know, they allow that.
Well, the commission ahead of us, which none of us was here, didn't say to spend any money on it, then
Our hands aren't tied to it.
our hands aren't tied.
It's just if it makes sense to redo the bridge and the road, and there's enough credits / reimbursement, then it would make sense for the county, but what I'm hearing is it doesn't make sense.
It don't make sense to me. From what we saw out there, it does not make sense, so maybe we need to explain that to that person.
So I guess I'm almost to the point of asking him to come in so that he can explain it to us
Yep.
point blank.
See if there's any other
That way it's not,
sides.
I mean, we hear it from him direct,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
we explain that we just,
yeah,
unless he can explain a greater value or return,
right.
at this point, we just don't. I mean, I can't imagine that it would in any way jeopardize our project if we don't.
Actually, the way he makes it sound is, if we don't agree to this, they lose the project.
That's the way Bryce told me too, so.
If you read what he says in there, it says they cannot proceed, they cannot get their permits until we approve this mitigation plan. So I was,
Then I don't wanna jeopardize the watershed project.
I don't either, but I don't wanna feel like that, hey, you guys need to do this or else. That's the part that
You talk
upsets me.
about a gun to the back of your head,
Yeah.
I mean, that seems like a really strong one.
Maybe he
They
needs to
could
come in.
They could breach your dam.
Yeah. There you go.
I-
Okay, let's have him come in.
And have him come in,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go talk to Harlan Unruh.
There you go.
And he's talked to me before about this project.
Okay.
And find out their side of the story too,
Yeah.
and just see here what all is going on, because they've been working on it for a long time. They've got a lot of money.
Yep.
And set back for this, but I think they are getting some other money too.
Well, I'm sure they are. I
Yeah.
mean, it's,
So, I think I have the email contact for that person, through Bryce. Shall I try to coordinate and put
Yes.
him on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay, I'll take care of that.
Very good.
We can continue this, our discussion.
Well,
our discussion. Our discussion.
Right, my understanding is from reading it, he needs a decision almost immediately.
Well, that's basically the way he made it sound. But
Is
again.
it okay to put it on the 28th or on payday?
If you can make it, it'd be great.
Is that,
We are doing the cookout that day, so just
Oh,
remember,
that's
that's
right.
this
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
Friday.
Yep.
We have anything else but besides?
No.
at this point, all it's on is payday? Would that be agreeable if it works for him? Get it checked off?
I could send Dave out to cook.
We better not be starting
I
at
won't be here.
9:15.
Oh, you won't be here, okay.
Wife's getting an operation Friday.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
She wanted to go with her for some reason.
Yes, yes, okay, so.
But Dave, since you're gone, would it be all right to still have him come in?
Yes.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, speaking of watershed dam, I can't, for the life of me, I can't, ends is down there on 20th and Remington, whatever, what is that one down there? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Stan come in and we were talking about the height of the dam. We went in and fixed that. As part of that project, there are 3 6-foot diameter corrugated metal pipes going through, is it Quail Creek or Remington on basically at that watershed. They are totally rusted through. Absolutely nothing on the bottom of them. I asked the question, are those our pipes, are those the watershed's pipes, or whatever else? I'm guessing the alkalinity or whatever else in that coming down from the feedlots is what has rusted those out. They're approximately, 50, 60 years old. My question is, if we go back and replace them, that I would recommend going back to concrete. Very, very expensive. I also made a comment about, well, if nobody's really using the road, can we just close it? He said, no, the road has to stay open according to the agreement. I have not found that agreement, but anyway, something else to look at is.
Drop a span over the top of it?
Well, there's 3 different pipes, and they're in 3 different areas. I would assume that was designed by the watershed for whatever reason. I don't know if anybody around that would know.
You mean like there's 100 foot between them, or 10 foot?
Yes,
between them, or-
probably at least 100 foot between them. So they were done for some reason, and does it have to go back that way? I don't know. I'm just looking at the fact is that,
Can they sleeve them?
huh?
Can they sleeve them with PVC?
I don't know if you could PVC because of the jagged edges on the bottom. You know, but yeah, they.
Just talking about corrosive.
Yeah, I understand. I don't know if that's a possibility.
Well, then we'd have to put metal on the ends though, to keep up with our own codes.
Well-
For burning ditches.
Well, one thing about the burning the
Melted
ditches down there,
cats.
you're not gonna burn much, you got water on both sides.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just wanna bring up the fact is that if we do have to replace those, it would be, if it is, like I said, our responsibility, considerable amount of expense to replace those with the same, or we could go back with metal pipes again, not knowing how long the watershed dam is gonna be there. Typically, they have a service life as well, so. But anyway, so I just bring that up. Went up this morning and finished the backfill of the 350th bridge that burnt. We put concrete on the bottom, we got those backfilled. So I think what we'll do is tomorrow, probably plan to open it up with a 5-ton rating on it. I'd like to take our dozer in there and do a lot more work on the outsides of it than up on top, but it's not that beneficial to really keep it closed. All that work would be off a traveled way so we could open it up. So unless the commission has any other problems with that, that's what we talked about before, and then we'll get the final tally of the labor, materials, equipment stuff to do that. But you know,
But
for
you
what,
got Cribbed, safe enough to do
I,
that?
well, we put,
Yes, it was fully cribbed.
our 18-inch sonotubes are on them after we put the piles in there.
Oh,
and
okay.
I got pictures and everything, so
Okay.
it's, but,
And the fix looks good.
yeah. So but anyway, so that will at least, get that back open
How long is the concrete set?
since Monday of last week, so we're good straight. Yeah, it's probably at 80% of its strength, and all the concrete, I mean, the bearing is actually the wood piles together.
Yeah.
The concrete is just there for reinforcement and safety, so. But we'll fix the channel and stuff through there, and hopefully we won't have any more problems, but I guess we're not. I did find out how to, the one pile that was still left, it was only partially burnt. I took a sonotube and cut through one side, and then on the other side, cut about halfway through it and just opened it up, put it around there, and it goes right back up. So, but that, so it worked.
It
you know,
worked.
so, but anyway, I'm very confident on that, so. Anyway, that's it. Unless you guys have anything else that I'm working on, so. Oh, you have a finger in the air?
I traveled from after you left on across to Goldenrod and 80th,
Mhm.
and it looks nice. Ditches look nice. I think you said you had some more work to do down there.
The main thing was we're gonna put sand up on top of that road.
Okay.
Yep.
Called the county, the school district. I didn't know John Fast had retired from Gossel and got a new superintendent over there, so I don't know whether you talk to him all the time or not, Jonah, but I gave him my number and said, you know, some of my roads is in their district and some of yours, so. But it looked nice. Don't know, I didn't leave a note for our visitor to come in. I didn't leave a note this time. He wasn't happy with the last note I left, so didn't leave this one. But anyway, it looks nice. The other thing is, we took that little machine that you rented or took care of and ground the stumps there on the west side of Peabody.
Mhm.
Did a pretty good job. Now it looks presentable to them, to
Mhm.
get to them. I don't know that machine, it's pretty slow, it takes a long time. Somebody gets pretty tired sitting there.
That's because of the head stumps.
Oh, I can
Yeah,
imagine. That's
he
the
come
problem.
right out and told me, he says, we haven't had a lot of good luck with hedge stumps, and that's
Okay.
why it took so long. I will tell you that it's been out to County Lake Thursday, Friday, and today, and they're going to town.
Oh, it's definitely.
Oh, they're
Different
having,
attachment.
yeah, they're
Is it an
having.
attachment or is it a?
It's
block
attachment. Yeah.
Skid loader attachment.
Yeah, it's really kind of interesting because it, you know, and most of them you see they're always out front like this. This one here actually comes out like this, and then the part actually goes like this.
Yeah.
So you can see it.
See it,
a
as the
lot better.
operator.
But yeah, I talked to Isaac Friday, and he said that Gerald had been over halfway around the lake already with it.
I sat and watched him on that hedge stumps and.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get me one.
Yeah.
Just borrow the county.
Well, and-
Grinding rock.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's basically what happens is the teeth get hot and
Yeah.
they shine over it. So yeah, we did understand that, but you know, I think it worked out well. Consider, you know, and with that fiber optic line there, that was just the biggest problem is not knowing what's going to happen there because they won't come out and tell you or whatever else. But anyway, like I said, those guys out there, they're just loving it because they're just tearing things up like crazy. So.
The next thing is that landowner, I haven't talked to him yet on that part, but the last time I talked to him, wants to know when his fence is gonna be fixed on the west or east side of town.
Yep.
He's
That's
very
this
adamant
week.
about getting that fixed.
Yep, that's this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
All righty.
Driving down off of Holly, 160th.
160 Hall.
They
Okay.
just, there's ditches were all cleaned up.
Yes.
It was recrowned, it was
Yes.
pulled up.
Yes.
Do you have multiple guys doing that or?
James and Cheyenne were out there.
Just them two?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's a little rough, but it's a dirt road.
It's in,
I mean,
Well, when you rebuild, it's good.
yeah,
but
dirt,
it's a dirt road, and
Dirt
until
roads
you
you-
powder that top and get that blade to push it back across.
dirt roads, you give them 6 months of rain and conditions, they'll power it.
How long did that take?
Day or two.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, because I remember they called in and had a utility locate on it, so.
Good. Well, some good news.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything else?
I do drive around up
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Bryce.
Thanks, Bryce.
Hey, if Isaac's out there.
Isaac's out here. I gotta go before you.
All right, everybody's in a really bad mood, Isaac. So
Wonderful.
you're gonna get, everything's good. How are you doing?
Good. How are you guys today?
All right.
Bryce says he's excellent. He had a stump grinder and he's going to town.
We have been.
Who's
I
running?
think it's missing some teeth, but it's still working for us.
Who's running?
Gerald has
Gerald?
it. Yeah. They brought it out. I think that was Friday last week, and so we've pretty much been running it all Friday and
Cool.
all the day. So
Those teeth just bolt on? Do they?
it looks like it, but they were gone when we got them. They said that they had to do some hedge or
Yeah,
something.
they don't
and-
want Peabody.
Okay, yeah, we thankfully we don't have a whole lot of that, and it's somewhat of a slow process, but we've been
It
moving
is
pretty
slow, yeah,
fast.
'cause you set and you grind that far and all of a sudden you're out of reach, then you have to move the machine and reset and grind more.
Yeah, we were watching. I was watching. I've never seen one quite like it,
Yeah.
but it's nice to have. We've been able to get them out of our stumps, out of the campgrounds, and off like the swimming area hill and
Oh,
a bunch
cool.
of places like
Cool.
that. So it's, yeah, we don't have to mow around them, and so it should
That's
be a
right.
whole lot
That's
nicer.
right, girls want to run it.
And then they're out today, Road and Bridge is out today, and they're getting started on those culverts that we looked at here a while back.
That were washed out?
Yeah, that were real washed out, so I think they said that there was 5 on the list. And so they're, I don't know how long it's gonna take them to get around, but I gave Gerald and Adam to help out with that project, so they got started on that this morning.
Very good.
I just had a little thing here. Did you get that email from me this morning with those pictures? Okay, so back in November, there was an accident that occurred, on it would be like the southeast side of the lake, an ATV accident. And right now, there's a little, kind of like a flower memorial thing up there on the side of the road, and I was approached by the family. Kind of, that rock there is kind of for a reference of what they're wanting to place. They're wanting to do like a permanent memorial stone. I talked to Bryce about it. He kind of said he didn't have any real opinions or anything on it, but he kind of recommended probably it's best to come to talk to you guys. I didn't know if there was any kind of policy or rules, and like I told him, I just didn't want anything permanent to go up until I brought it to you guys for discussion. I just really didn't know if this has been something that's been talked about or ever discussed or anything like that, and so I didn't feel comfortable saying anything without talking to you
Does
first.
the state highway have any rules? You see lots of
Yeah,
wooden posts, crosses.
But not permanent.
Yeah.
correct. And it,
Not permanent.
Right. So, I'm gonna turn to our experienced commissioners. Have you had any experience with permanent markers?
No, not with permanent
Tina,
markers,
do
no.
you remember any previous? I know of markers in our area, but they're on private property.
Private.
Not on the right of way.
Right, it's it's actually that make-believe line that's in between the right-of-way and where the landowner starts control, like a fence post. It's
Mhm.
right on that spot right there.
I will voice my opinion on this. I lost a granddaughter, car accident. Sad deal. But I don't believe it entitles me to put a permanent marker there on the roadway. I do know the landowner would have let us done something, but time has healed a little bit, a lot, and, it's happened there, but we move on. And so I cannot vote for a permanent marker for alongside the road, even though it's probably out of the way. I don't feel a permanent marker on our roadways. If we do that, we could have 100 of them. Don't want to, but how many people get killed in our county? Quite often at different spots, so that's my opinion.
if the kid was a outdoorsman,
He was.
would we allow it on the county side? You know, out there at the reservoir at Cottonwood, I don't know if you remember old Will Helmer. He
Yes.
fished every day of his life, I think.
Yeah.
Right in front of, right there between the two boat launches, it's got one just like that. So the Corps gave permission for the family to do that. It had to. Would we allow something in a spot that's,
I worked with Will. Will's worked really good.
Was it gonna be flush with the ground, or?
No, so I think it's a little blurry. I got, so it sits off, the front sits off a little lower than the back. So the back there, front's gonna be right about 6 inches above, and then the back is right around 16. So, I mean, yeah, it's angled, so it's angled forward, and
That's a metal cage with chains
So
on
you'd
it.
have to mow around it.
yeah, well, and that, and you know, we've been talking about it, and that's one thing that, because where that is right there, we really, I mean, we do with the bush hog, we run the tractor down that, so it's not like we would get real close to it, and they kind of said, you know, they would help keep up with it, weed eating, whatever the case is, but, because that, we don't take our mowers on the south side, we normally just run that with the bush.
Pretty steep.
It'd be on the other side of the blue flowers.
Yeah, kind of right where that rock is there.
Yeah.
That was kind of put there for a kind of like a reference point.
is it stand out and be real obvious, or would people just drive by and wouldn't see it?
You would definitely, I mean, you would see it. I wouldn't say that it would, I wouldn't say that, I mean, I'm guessing that 16-inch mark would probably be close to the point of the top of those flowers, thinking about it. The way that those flowers are set up there. I mean, it's off the roadway, I don't know, but that probably 8 feet, 7, 8 feet.
Is that exactly where it happened at?
Yes, that is the exact location, yeah.
Because I had a son-in-law check out the tree up in front of it. Mike Benson, Jeff Jackson.
Upside down,
Mm-hmm.
in a boat.
No, in a car.
Yeah, but like a boat.
How about out there by the restroom, by the heated dock?
Well, you know, I know, I mean, I've never
More
been.
and more people would see it.
I've never been asked for anything like this. You know, I know that we've done multiple times, like memorial benches and things like that out there, and put them on points, or if the people have, like you said, a favorite spot to fish or whatever. We've done that multiple times. But something like this, I've never been asked about, and I don't know. I didn't talk with the family about anything about possible other locations or anything like that. You know, I don't know if that's something.
Does it have any reflective marker on it?
It doesn't. Now, whether or not that'd be something that we could put up, probably.
Well, I mean, what the family like, I think, is to have this, but they also would like to, you know, make note of that curve too.
Corner there.
So if they made a reflective property on this, they could achieve what they were wanting.
What's on the other side of the road right there where that's at?
On the lake side?
Yeah, on the lake side.
I didn't get this over to you in time, Tina.
That's all right.
But it's, so.
That's not where the.
Where this pin is
that
right
gonna be
there.
the starting mark of the drag line? Drag race?
So, and that was gonna be one other thing that
Looks like
I have brought up, and we've talked about it multiple times, is since that accident, that's the one problem that I have had with it. And sounds like its friends and stuff like that have been coming out and doing that, and so
Well, that's what I was wondering, if that
Yeah.
wasn't gonna be the starting line.
and we have
For
talked
the race.
about that on multiple occasions.
I thought maybe if it was where the,
Might have another marker out there that keeps it in there.
it's not where the.
Disc golf.
Disc golf
It's
is.
very close. So there's the disc golf. There's a disc golf pad right across the road, just a tiny bit there to
To the
the
east a
Yep,
little bit. north of the
exactly.
street.
Yep, yep.
I was just thinking,
Because really the stretch of ground right on the opposite side, there's nothing quite over there. Then there's that pad that's just on the east side.
I would be more in favor of a more memorial bench over there on that side somewhere. Don't know, just, it's not where the spot is. But I see, you know, it's a sharp corner. If you don't know it's there, you're not gonna navigate it at 60 miles an hour.
Well, and now.
Even if it's 30 out there.
And there's
It's
also,
enforced.
yeah, there's no, I mean, we don't have power over there, so there's no street lights or anything like
Right.
that on that side either.
Are they gonna put up those solar lights?
Well, we put one up, it's a little further down the road down there, kind of by our, Guinness World Record sign for the marshmallow roast that happened. We did put one up, well, we put 3 up out at the lake now. I mean, possibly to do the whole road, I don't know. I don't know if that's something that,
Like it gets used regularly.
oh, it's definitely used.
That's why you refer to drag racing right there.
That's why I was wondering if that's gonna be the starting line.
I would almost say no on the rock, because it's gonna create more maintenance for them.
Well, I'm hearing really not a consensus, but what I am hearing is concern about first being on road right away. The second one would maybe be location, the concern that I'm hearing.
I mean, this individual sounds like he used the lake a lot, I'd think they'd want the marker close to where you can see most fishermen.
But it wasn't using it right. It's like, I hate to be called harder.
No, I'll second the date.
I mean, I agree that a memorial would be nice, but maybe not in that spot.
Location. Okay, Commissioner Gary?
I'm all right with it as long as they put reflective property on it.
Bryce, did you have a comment on our discussion?
I was just listening, so.
Yep. Would you like to?
Again, it's a very difficult decision. The only thing I was concerned about, if there's anything done, make sure it's far enough off the roadway with the commissioner's approval to put it on the easement, so.
What if you come in to rebuild the road? I mean, I know it's right there, so not, you know.
The snowplow did it, that far off the road.
Well, I don't know what the plan is, where they're gonna hit it. The one thing that I said was as close to that fence as possible, even though the area where this happened, there is a drop off.
Yeah, before the fence.
Yeah, before the fence, but.
So there ain't gonna be any chance of any vehicle hitting it, because if it does, it's
Well,
already.
and I don't know if they're, the other thing is, it doesn't look very tall off the ground. You would think that if anything, they would, but again, anytime you put something in that easement, it could bring up that possibility.
I will say from experience with another marker that you're gonna have people pull over and stop. So there will be an issue of cars being
Right in that curve.
Yeah.
on that curve.
And there is a good, was it probably a 10-foot shoulder, 8 to 10?
We were just talking, I said 7, but yeah,
Okay,
yeah, somewhere right
So I
around there.
mean,
Yeah,
but,
I haven't measured. I haven't measured it.
but then the other thing is if they pull over too far, somebody steps out, they go, "Phew."
Yeah.
And I was talking to Isaac earlier, we're going by the assumption where the fence is where the easement is.
So if they put it in and somebody walks down that ditch and breaks their leg, then we're gonna be forced to put in a sidewalk to it?
I mean, everybody's brought up valid points, just, whatever.
I mean, I think it's great to honor the life. I just think it ought to be in a place where, somebody, fishermen walk by and see it, just like that one out at the reservoir. You gotta see it every time you put your boat in.
Okay, the issue is location.
Yeah.
It looks like if you take it from what I saw there of it, it looks like it's gonna be a weed eating problem too.
Well, and that was the one thing, and I mean, first of all, I
Not-
definitely
not-
don't wanna hit it with our tractor.
Not the
I mean, cause that's the
county.
other thing that kinda worried me is if we mowed and we did hit it, you know, I mean, obviously.
You've got more things to look at that curve than a stone.
Right, so I would kinda just
Going
tell
with tractor.
my guys to just stay away from it. I mean, don't try to get as close as you can, just kinda stay away, and then, yeah, it would become a weed eating thing, at that point, but,
It shouldn't.
well,
You shouldn't weed eat
right,
it.
right.
Okay.
You know what happens usually 5 years down the road is not, I know it did on ours, somebody put one up for a granddaughter, and he wasn't taking it
Who
around 5
did?
years down the road.
It's sad, but.
Yeah.
What would the commission think of denying the placement on road right-of-way, but ask Isaac to visit with the family on a more suitable location? Would you be comfortable with that?
Yeah, I could talk to him about, you know,
With the
even if-
commission?
He mentioned, against the fence line, that's where it should be, that
Well,
spot that you mentioned.
It neither,
Somewhere.
it should not be on county right-of-way. Or, I mean, it could be on maybe lake property
Yeah.
or at the easement.
Right.
And again, I come back to your comment of, there are very, very good locations on lake property, but it needs to be the right
Yeah.
location.
Yeah, but
Plus, if we had it on ours, it would be maintained. For sure.
Okay. When Tina gets back, we'll make a motion to that effect. That's kind of the consensus, I'm saying.
What else you got?
Did you have anything else?
That was really my main thing. I was gonna say, besides that, you know, we've had a handful of guys come out to look at the dam project, so that's moving along.
That's good.
Besides that, getting ready for busy season. We've been rocking roads and getting campsites ready, and we did some work on the beach with the lake being as low as it is, and like I said, now today they're out working on those culverts, so just kinda getting ready for summer.
Did y'all make a motion?
No, we waited. Because we want to word it right. That's the only reason we waited. I would move that we deny the request for the memorial marker on county right-of-way, road right-of-way, and then direct Isaac to visit with the family on a more suitable location. Second by Commissioner Dalton. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Nay.
4-1. All right. Thank you, Isaac.
Yep,
Good luck.
absolutely.
Probably won't be seeing you much. Gonna be just a blur.
Hey, have a good day.
Thank you. This is really scary. We got 55 minutes.
Brad just emailed the hospital thing.
Okay. Well, he needs to be here. Yeah.
Well, yes.
All right, well, if it's okay, I'll move into the commission outside board report. And at that point, if Brad's not here, maybe we'll just take a recess. So I currently serve on North Central Kansas Regional Juvenile Detention Facility Board. If that isn't a mouthful to remember, that's something else. So I brought the agenda from the last meeting, minutes. It's 15 counties, North Central Kansas. Again, juvenile detention. The third page in is a count on days used between the 15 counties. Obviously, Saline County, Gary County, they make up probably 3/4. The rest of us, like Morris County, we have very few days in there. But the point of the matter is, we do have times when we need juvenile detention, which is very much different than your standard detention facilities. But it's kind of interesting, the days and the use. They've got a really very good manager, administrator. He's on top of it, constantly working with the legislature, Department of Corrections. There's issues just like everywhere, but I think they've run a really good ship. And like everything, there's complications between programs. Programs keep changing, so there's secure care, there's juvenile detention, they're using electronic bracelets now quite a bit for the kids, which has been working well. But again, every year it's uncertainty on funding. You know, what program is going to get changed, what direction is the legislature going to go this year. The facility is in Junction City. They are looking at a second facility in Saline County. Because Saline County is building their new jail, they would take over part of a small section of the old jail. Just a possibility. So, questions?
$200, almost $300 per day for inmate.
Yes. It is not cheap. Because there are a lot of very stringent rules.
Well, yeah, and then plus you got 9. You're averaging it by 9, all your operating costs, or 15.
There are 24 beds, but they're split. Some are secure bed program and some are juvenile detention program beds.
What do you say, split it by 15?
Well, so one of the reports showed average 15
Yes.
inmates.
Yes.
So that was like 265 a day.
Oh.
Whereas they had 9 inmates in another column, and it was almost 300.
Yes.
I see.
You need more to get your
Average it out, because you got the operating expense is the operating expense. So if you took it down to 1, it's.
Same people show up.
But don't they share our operating expense by the way we use it?
For the counties, but what Jonah's talking about is for the project as a whole.
Okay.
Just like the
Yeah.
jail, in this case, there's 24 beds, so your staff,
Yeah.
and if you only have 9 people,
Yeah.
or you have 15 people,
Yeah.
your cost per inmate then varies.
Right.
But, yeah, so I mean, you're talking between 260 and 300
No matter
on a
what.
9 to 15 swing. So,
We better off just rent a room and call it in.
Yeah, it goes over real well with teenagers.
then you gotta pay somebody to stand outside their door.
Yeah.
That's where the cost comes in.
Yes.
And then you gotta feed them.
Yes, the monitoring, the exercise, the educational programs. It's an interesting deal.
Yeah.
So, we meet monthly on that. Like I said, it's a well-run ship, so.
You get very many to come to it, or is it mostly Zoom?
Actually, they have never done a Zoom meeting
Really?
since I've been on. It's always in person.
Really?
Looking at the attendance roster, there's 15 counties. There's usually about 9 or 10 counties represented.
Enough to make a quorum?
Yes. And I'll admit, I have not made every meeting, because they usually don't take long, and it's not a real big issue for us, if there's nothing really on the agenda. But a lot of the counties that go a whole year with no one in their juvenile program, well,
Is it commissioners, all commissioners?
yes.
Ed Splickle's still on there.
Yes.
Known Ed forever. He's been retired from banking for at least 10 years.
Yeah, I see his name there, Ed Splickle.
Yeah, he's the
Public,
secretary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Belleville.
It's a good group. So that's that advisory board. The second one is the 8th Judicial District Corrections Advisory Board. It's only 4 counties, the 8th Judicial District. So the main ones there are Dickinson County and Gary County again. And there, you can see the reports. They meet quarterly. Again, they've got a very, very good administrator, a person running the program. It's interesting, their biggest struggle is the software. Is the state mandated changing their software, and it's just an absolute disaster.
It's been a couple of years now.
You're exactly right. They call it Athena, but they're moving forward with the next phases, so they're not gonna fix it or change it, they're just moving forward.
Mike Parrish is kind of the ramrod behind that.
And it's
I mean, I think he was the first victim, maybe.
Maybe, but she can't get the numbers to come out right, it deletes people, that just a disaster. But,
So they're both in Junction City?
actually, yes, they now alternate the correction advisory board between Dickinson County and Erie County.
I'm glad you're on those boards. I'd be both if I was on the boards. My wife would want to go, and
Oh.
always have to go eat at the Mexican taco shop.
Oh. The correction advisory board always brings in Subway sandwiches.
The little, have you ever tried it there on 6th Street, the Mexican taco shop?
Is that right?
Amazing.
I have not been there.
Gonna talk about the cookout on Friday.
Yes.
Let's make sure we have everything we need.
Okay, hamburgers,
Grill.
sausage, sausage.
Boss supposed to pick it up in Anthony Thursday, supposed to be there Thursday night, and I pick it up Friday morning, so, at the shop down here, so.
Okay.
Do we need anything else? Do you need us to do anything else, or?
I don't think so. We'll get the rest of the stuff. I just wanna make sure you have, that we're
Yes.
still doing it.
That's good.
Do you have everything you'll need for the grilling itself, or do we need to?
I bought, I got a ticket to turn into you.
Okay.
I bought $66 worth of charcoal.
Okay, so you've got,
Yeah, I've got a ticket for that, and I've got stuff, or, I don't know, are we just hamburgers only, or did we cook hot dogs last year? Sausage, that's right, we cooked some sausage.
Are you guys taking care of are we taking care of the buns and all that, or?
I think we're, just one second.
Because I think the last time they took care of all that stuff.
Clerk's office.
And
Don't need a bun for sausage.
Jackie's having surgery
Finger food.
in Wichita, Thursday mornings, Friday mornings.
So we have a question on hot dog, we put a question mark on hot dogs, because last time we did hamburgers and hot dogs, but we didn't know that Commissioner Daring was bringing sausage,
Yeah,
and
we
so we might want to still do a few regular hot dogs. I don't know how much you're planning to bring, so that's.
I'll have plenty of room to cook them, so whatever you bring, whatever.
Just what got any, I usually get Dale's. I don't know if you got any preference for Peabody?
No, it's either Dale's is fine.
It's good there too.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, either one is good.
I think with the
I just
sausage.
wanted to know do you know about how much you're gonna do, and then that way we know how many buns and such.
All I brought was the rolls last year.
Okay, so we'll do some hot dogs, and then I think last time we just had smaller pieces of sausage, right? They were not like bun-sized pieces, so. Okay,
Eat it with your fingers.
Or a fork. Fork.
but we'll probably won't do as many as what we did last time, since, you know. And do you know how many hamburgers you're bringing?
Same as last time,
Okay.
whatever that number was. I just put in the order for the same as last time.
Okay.
Because it seemed like it came out fairly close.
Yeah.
The sausage
And then we'll
and-
we'll go and get all the rest of the items.
Okay.
And we have cookies ordered.
No cupcakes?
No.
We'll need to get what? Was it one table or two table out there?
Yeah, just something to put stuff on, yeah.
Did we get those here, or did?
I don't remember.
I've got a 6-foot heavy duty, like one of those wooden tables. There might be 4 feet actually, that we can put out there. And then we have some plastic ones. I mean, I don't know what all you
I
want.
don't remember what we had, but we did have
Had a
something.
couple
We
of
had-
tables.
How much room do you need out there?
I think we're just using the side of the deal, and we kept running inside and
side.
dumping them
Okay.
inside.
Bring them inside, yeah.
I don't know, I was thinking we had a table, because we had all the boxes with the meat on a table, I thought, maybe we didn't, I don't know.
I bought something new this year. I've got an aluminum thing, 4 foot, this, one of those short 2 foot deals to stamp on it. They work real good for this kind of stuff too, so I got.
Bring
one of
it.
those. Yeah, I'll put it in the
There
truck.
you go. That'd be
Just back up a pickup with a
Yeah, pick up
tailgate.
your tailgate.
Yeah, both works. We'll have
You
enough.
have a place
We'll
to
find
sit
someplace.
too while you're cooking.
We can go get us a
If
chair.
you brought my truck.
Okay,
There wasn't much said last year, it seemed like it moved pretty much. It was good.
Well,
Thank you, Chair. Thank you again for helping put this all together.
no, they're all ready, they'll have it all ready.
Okay, good, thanks for bringing that up.
Oh, one other thing to mention, Gala's retirement reception is Thursday, 1 to 3:30 at the senior center.
Okay.
At the senior center right there?
At the Senior Center, 1 to 3:30.
1:30 to 3:30 according to this invite.
On the
27th.
So that'll be Thursday, the day
Thursday.
before the
I'm
count.
not sure if I can make it or not, but I'll try.
Yeah, thing at the lake on the 29th.
Yeah, the core community.
Core community.
Yeah, I see.
How did the sale come out?
We won't know for a bit, but not very good, I'm sure, because there were only, I think, 27 numbers issued, and I think the grand total that was paid in was $2,000 or less.
Yeah, would
And then, so we'll have to pay the commission.
Like 400 of it was the auctioneer buying.
Yeah. So anyway, we should get that breakdown, like the detailed information, probably in the next week to 10 days, so.
But I, again, appreciate the staff and all the departments working on it. Tina took me up to see the attic, and it did make a huge difference.
Yeah.
There's still a lot to go through, but you can now get to what's there to
Get
go
through
through.
it.
Before you couldn't get to
That's
a lot of the stuff.
Other things, we need to invest in some shelving.
Yes.
Yes.
Upstairs.
Yeah,
Well,
good
just
talk.
over here,
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to bring up that?
so we can get that out of there.
Okay, yes. Also, I'd like to invest in some shelving for the attic, because there are some records up there that have to be saved that belong to, like, the treasurer's office, and having some shelves up there, I can put it on the cement part of the attic, which is above the vaults, which is the sturdiest part, and organize that a bit better. And then any of the file boxes that we can get out of there, we need to get out of there.
We've been buying shelving at Home Depot and Menards. The whole 500 pounds on each shelf,
Yeah.
and they're about 6 foot left to right,
Right, but how tall are they?
about 5 foot.
Yeah,
But
so
all my
these need to be
people are
taller.
short, you can't lift the box over your
Maybe you could
head.
double stack.
Well, they
And Tina can go on the top shelf.
They need to be 8-footers.
Huh?
They need to be 8-footers.
Nobody can lift up there that high.
You put it up there one time, you go back after it with a ladder later, once.
Go find me somebody in this building who can put a box above the head. This one, two.
Well,
We do it all the time in our vault.
if you go over there in the vault,
Our
you
vault
go
is
over
like,
there in the
our
vault.
vault is way up
These
there.
are 10-foot.
Well,
It's
every-
not easy
everything that got
though, and
cleaned
you
out
have
of
to be
the vault.
careful.
I think more of my
boxes.
girls, I guess,
Yeah,
one
with-
injury.
With artificial intelligence, we'll have a robot do that for us.
We'll have an Amazon drone pick it up and put it up there.
Or better yet, scan it so you don't have to store it.
Yeah.
There are still a lot of files up there, and I think that I had mentioned that before already, that, and then there's a room downstairs that's full of files that the intention was to move those into the annex when the office moved over there, but that hasn't happened, and it doesn't look like it will happen, so we're gonna have to maybe look at potentially some options as far as some sort of a filing system that maybe would accommodate the number of files.
But that filing system could be located.
It should be
It
located.
can be.
Yes.
It can go right over the top of file cabinets. That's what so you gotta have a shelving system to go above that. to use up that real estate.
Yeah, so how do we work with the elected official to accomplish that goal?
Just take the boxes over there, set them in a room. We'd have a work day.
I think we just need to measure it out, buy some shelves, put it in there. and
There
then
is
move the stuff.
There's also a company that Treasurer's Office has worked with in the past to, they have some of those big revolving file cabinets that, where you can stand on the ground and you can shift the files around to what you need. I think that potentially someone in that kind of a business could come out, take a look at the files that haven't been resolved yet, and maybe come up with a proposal that could then be presented to the department.
So is that something we should initiate as a commission? Inviting that company to come out, do an assessment, make a recommendation, and then present it to the department?
A commission directive, if that's your preference, then I think that would be fine.
Welcome. Thank you. I guess I would make that directive. I would ask that we pursue, request that the consultant, file consultant used by the treasurer's office be brought out to assess the situation with the county attorney files and make a recommendation of the filing system that would work in the annex.
I would go along with that directive.
Can you second?
That's your directive.
No, okay.
I'm going along with your directive.
Okay, is there any opposition?
We
to the
agree with you.
directive? A nod up and down is an agreement with the directive, okay? I see no sideways.
Sign language is acceptable.
Okay. I don't remember doing a directive before. Yes, we have.
Okay.
We'll get the ball rolling on that. Since we made a major accomplishment in the attic, we're gonna.
Yeah, there's a lot
keep
more
the
work
ball
that
rolling.
needs to be done up there, but it's
moving forward.
It is moving.
And again, thank you to all the departments and staff who
Yeah.
made that possible, because that was not an easy job.
So much easier just to look the other way for so long.
Yes.
When you're forced to actually look at it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard. It's like Bill swallow sometimes.
Yeah. But a great accomplishment. Very well. Since our county councilor's here and almost has caught his breath, we are actually ahead of schedule on our agenda today.
You're up on the price
So
is right.
if you are ready, we
I
are
am.
ready for you and make efficient use of your time. You don't have to sit and listen to us go through a meaningful discussion.
This is great. I assume, well, we probably need an executive session first.
Okay.
On current litigation.
Okay, how long?
Probably 20 minutes.
Okay. I move that we recess to executive session in order to discuss current litigation pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege. With the commission, Brad and Tina, from 2:40 to 3 o'clock. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Gehring. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 3 o'clock. Cheated you out of a minute. It's
Didn't see a whole lot of rain for us.
We didn't even have heated discussions today.
But the store window's not
This
open.
conference will now be recorded.
What is it? No wonder it's not coming.
I'll let Jonah do that, because I don't want to break it.
Should fill it.
Click.
There it is.
All right, everything's on, so if you want to make your announcement.
Randy, did his store window open?
Yep, 31 seconds. Oh, Randy, you gotta fix that. That's gonna drive me crazy.
I knew it. It was that personality type.
There's not any better.
That's not better?
That's not better.
Oh, come on.
A little further. Little more.
Now the other way.
She'll be staring at, there you go, a little more.
That's better. It's good enough.
Yes,
No,
she
there's a quarter
says.
inch all the way through there. You're wrong.
Okay, we are out of executive session. No decisions made. We're going to go into another executive session for contract negotiations. I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B, item 2, right, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with the commission, Brad and Tina, for 15 minutes from 3 o'clock to 3:15, with open session to resume back in this room following the closed session.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dalkey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We will be back at 3:15. And then if we get into an area, we need to go.
Yeah, we can go in there.
3:30, we have another appointment.
30 to 45 when I text you, I'm gonna try to keep to that. You can take this one up next.
Yes. Let's mention that first. Okay, out of executive session, no decisions made. Brad, earlier today, there was a question from the health department about the trailer, getting that title transferred over agreement.
On Thursday of last week, I got the title information from
Okay.
Krista. I have not talked to the City of Marion's legal counsel. Apparently, they would like this to be in the city's name, is how it gets transferred.
Okay.
Not in some other global organizational structure or anything else. That was news to me. So.
Plus the fire department is getting it.
That's, and maybe that's what she intends, but what I got in an email was City of Marion wants it in the city's name.
Okay.
Well, the fire department is a city department.
Yes.
And I sent him an email about that. It's not a fire district.
Right.
If it's the Marion Fire Department, it's a part of the city.
City,
So it really.
So it really does
It does need to
potentially
to
go through the city.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
so I guess my recommendation is proceed with just the title going to the city of
Yeah,
Marion.
and it's just basically what I'm putting together is a transfer agreement to
Yep.
put it there.
Why don't we just sign the title and give it to them?
We can. The only thing that I thought, based on the questions that were asked that might need to be addressed, was that Marion's taking this thing, understanding that they're getting this piece of equipment from the county to be used by all departments within the county.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what you all had said.
And they want
last
to take
time.
it to Dallas, Texas on May 4th. And they have to work on it.
Oh my.
Yeah,
So
so we need to.
you're under the gun.
Why not? Shoot, that's fine.
We need it wrapped up so they can actually work on it, because they don't wanna work on it if they don't take possession of it.
Understood. Okay. I'll just do it that way, but we can just give them the title. We want to do it that way, but if we want something from the county since,
Do we have a title?
I don't know that trailer, what we've got. Bill of sale, I can do that too.
Don't say, some trailers don't have a title.
That's
How
right.
big is this one? It gets to a certain size, it's gotta have a tag.
It's
That's
single
all.
axle, ain't
It's
it?
a single axle, it's 8 foot,
Yeah, it's probably,
6 by 8.
it's probably a 2M trailer, you probably
I
don't
bet
have
it
to have
won't
a
have a
title.
And there wouldn't even be a title.
So it'd be a bill of sale.
I could do a bill of sale. And I can slip the language in there if you'd like, that says, it's our understanding that in terms of this being granted to them, it will be available for use by any and all
Is that
departments in the
agreeable?
county.
Can you slip something in there about deferred maintenance? Since they know they're gonna have to work on it, they don't send us a bill for new wheel bearings.
Yeah,
and
as is where
everything
is.
else.
Yeah,
As is where is.
As is, I guess, it'd be, as is.
I can do that, and I can just do all that in the form of a bill of sale.
Yeah.
Much simpler.
Good. Well, I like simple.
Well,
Yeah.
is that something we can do during it administrative on Friday?
Uh-huh.
And
If you
then
guys
we'll
want
get it
to.
approved?
Yes.
Because this is, for me to knock out a bill of sale is far different than what I was putting together, which was a transfer agreement.
Get the-
Can we just
connect-
have a deal, make a motion to have him go ahead and docu-sign it?
Dave can
Is
sign
that
it.
all right?
You can.
You could
You're
just,
comfortable with that.
if you've got DocuSign or something similar, just
And
get it to him
send
and
it to
he'll.
Kristen, we'll send it to the
First,
city.
send it here and-
Can you stamp?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so,
I'll make a motion that we authorize the chairman to sign once the bill of sale is produced for the Safe Kids trailer.
transfer to the city of.
Transfer to the city of Marion for use of all Marion County departments.
That would be great.
The pickup is display.
Yeah, that's what the trailer's for.
This trailer's this stuff's gonna be stored in the trailer.
Okay.
And transported around the county.
Makes sense.
Second by Commissioner Dalkey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay.
Yeah.
Get her done.
Nobody's using this trailer, so.
Is that nay?
Yeah, I didn't see any problem there. I just was thinking.
I don't know why,
This is quick. She got that to me on Thursday, but anyway, that makes
Did
sense.
you vote nay?
No.
You did
He
say
didn't
nay.
mean to, he made some sound, but I think it was in agreement with something we were discussing.
Okay, you're in favor.
He was
clear his
five.
throat.
Yeah, it was just kind of a gut.
Okay. I heard a nay. It sounded like nay when he asked for nay.
Take a drink of water.
Yes, thank you.
Well, clear our throat, we just voted against it.
I'm just trying to make sure we got our A's.
Get after
A's,
it,
and
Brad.
A's.
I'm the vote
Next
nay.
time I vote against, I'm just gonna clear my throat.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll take that as a yay.
And I have a plausible approach to that.
All right. Okay, let's talk about fence viewing.
Let's do.
I asked
I'm
for
sorry.
violation letter.
It was a
Oh,
beautiful day
okay.
today.
We're gonna change
Did I see
back
it?
to the violent.
Yes.
So I can get with the sheriff. Yep. We can determine what we're gonna do.
You can.
Okay.
So I have to send that to you today. You're talking about the one that I'd originally done that they fired at, right?
Yeah, liar. We need to.
It's not getting any better.
Oh, it's worse.
I drove by this weekend.
Yeah, me too. There's still bags out throughout 4 sections.
Yeah, I can't say that's not an overstatement. They are all around.
Okay,
If
and
you
then-
drive the mile line, it's everywhere.
I forgot to ask, but we got a pile of tires sitting on 120th too, right there at that intersection.
At the intersection,
So I don't know what that's about, but they're putting in data everywhere, fiber optics, so I don't know if. Road crossing or something. Yeah, something. I'm not sure it was debris yet.
That's what they're using them.
Anyway,
Okay, so we got the,
yeah.
fence viewing. The commission went out, viewed the site we were requested to view this morning. What is our next step?
The discussion of what you wish to do in terms of proceeding and what your findings were. Because Tina sent me and I had kind of made inquiry too, because it's not something to do every day. But there is a resolution that really would be, actually, the first one would have been useful, you know, when we first did it. But I can incorporate that as a ratification. Then there are findings. And those have taken on several different forms. Many of these that I was able to find tend to deal with a boundary dispute kind of a thing, about where somebody has a fence, and then also encroachment on the county. But it's not unheard of to do this. But this is a little more the exception to the rule in terms of someone's negligence. But the statutory scheme in Chapter 29 does contemplate, you know, the fence-in approach codifies that and talks about damages. There is the potential, I have not talked to the county attorney as to the element of prosecution on a, you know, what amounts to a criminal basis on that, because we don't have, or administratively, we're really not set up like we would be with planning and zoning to do that as a non-criminal but administrative kind of an enforcement. So that would really go through him primarily, but we can join in an action that would be joint with adjacent or damaged property owners if we so chose. So there's that, but I guess I'm looking for where are we at? Yep, we see it, it's a huge problem. We need to address it in whatever way possible, or whatever the findings in terms of the general discussion are today.
Okay. Just an update. We met, we looked at it, fences in the road right now, there's electric fences. Right away. Landowner gave us a briefing that the violator has hired a fence contractor, and they was there, this person was there, to put a fence in.
Regular fence or?
Barbed wire fence.
Okay.
Barbed wire fence. Because I asked him that, went over and asked him. The next thing is he wanted to know where to put it, and I suggested a survey. Now, do we the county, or do the landowner have to do that? Landowner, okay. And I would not stop myself, I would not stop at going so far as going through this action and notifying the landowner, and maybe that if he has hired this guy, that we will put it on hold if the fence is built. I don't know. That's not my decision. That's the commission's decision.
You mean what if he doesn't get it surveyed and properly placed?
Yeah, right. And get started. I mean, we could be 6 months from now and it's still not there.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, how do we take care of this time lapse?
Right. And I think the rest of the commissioners agree it's inadequate fence. Right.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I think we're all.
It's not fenced. It's not
fenced.
electrified, it's
Does
not electric
Yeah,
fence, it's
electric
wired.
fences have to have a charge.
Yeah.
And Tina has pictures, the trees are grown up, the trees have been in it for 3 or 4 years.
But the thing is, the fence is on the opposite side of the road from the other property.
Mhm.
It's not right on the property border.
Yeah,
That
so
causes a
the
problem.
Can,
the
when we say on the opposite side of the road, on someone else's property? I mean, what are we talking about there?
Well, one property owner owns this side, the other property owner owns the
Oh.
other side. And it's
Other
not
side
a
of the road.
contiguous,
Yeah,
there's a road
yeah, I
in
see what
there.
you're saying. No.
So the county has the road.
Yeah, actually, it just creates a melded interest. We have an interest in maintaining the public right-of-way, property owner adjacent to on the other side. Those are considered contiguous for purposes of real estate ownership. Check that, because I thought that would
Probably
probably be.
you own the center of the road, you
Yeah.
just have to let
Let us have it.
Throughway.
Yeah.
The
We have a
right-of-way.
publicly dedicated area within it. That's the reason for when we do these types of cases where we just abandon. That's why it goes to the middle of the road. We don't have to do anything else. There's no pronouncement, there's no other court history for that. It automatically does that. We get rid
The
of
fence
it.
builder come up with 25 foot either side. I don't know whether it's 40 foot, 60 foot, 50 foot, I don't know.
Bryce should know the easement, but if you can't find a stake,
Shouldn't the
where do you
surveyor,
measure from?
shouldn't the surveyor, that be their responsibility?
That's their issue.
Yeah, okay. So I think we've come, the conclusions are: one, adequate fence; second, we want survey; third, a response, adequate fence or appropriate fence; the third one is time, our fourth item is time frame. What time frame?
It's 6 months.
You mean to get it fenced?
Yeah,
Short
fence bill.
Well, like Randy said, what if the surveyor says, I can't get there for 6 months?
That's big time.
I can put something in that says for good cause shown, an extension will be granted.
Yeah.
There you go. So you wanna go 6 months and then if they can't get the surveyor, so,
Yeah.
okay.
Surveyor immediately contacted, and then the completion date after surveyor.
What,
Yeah.
I would suggest
That'd be
put
the
your-
big thing, have
Yeah.
contact with the surveyor within 10 days.
Yeah, that's the deal.
well, if you'll let me, I think, let me put some kind of a
Okay.
time frame in it so that you have something you can use for calendaring purposes, that kind of thing, like a 6 month. And then I'll note that good cause shown, or, that the surveyor can't get there. It could even say 6 months from survey completion. Sure.
Yeah,
I'll figure
it could be
something
any
out
other day
with
for
that.
the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And
I guess I would make the motion that we have our county councilor draft a certified letter to send to the,
Also a resolution of your findings. I think I'm gonna.
oh, we need that first? Okay.
I don't know if it has to be first, but
I'm gonna do that.
I think it would be better.
So it's a resolution,
Yep.
just saying that the fence is inadequate?
Didn't even know those existed, but they do.
Okay. I would,
Can we have a resolution that will cover us? See, we know this is a bad deal, it's habitual, going on, but other people are gonna pick up on it and say, well, my neighbor's got cows in my pasture year round. They're gonna be to us, and I had a couple of constituents call me and say, how are you gonna avert that? We understand what you're doing, but how are you gonna avert that? Because there's other, everybody gets a cow or two out once in a
Mhm.
while, but there are a few that,
Chronic.
yeah. Now, we can support this by the number of times it's been turned
there's
into
no
shit.
question, yeah.
So how do we avert this with going down the road? Because this could turn into just a
Everybody
bowling
does
ball
it.
rolling down the road.
Right.
Especially if they don't like their neighbor. No.
yeah, yep, very true.
I mean, how do we avoid having 5 more places to go view fences?
I don't honestly know. To be honest, I'll think about that one, because the statute contemplates this potential, and that these citizens can make that request of you.
They're
You
also
can-
supposed to
could
pay
we-
you
could we
$7.50.
You can tell this hasn't been changed since 1923.
But we were also supposed to fine Ken if he couldn't make that first meeting.
But you got lucky it rained, so, because he was supposed to be fined $10 for not being there.
It is in the statute, yes.
I mean, could we use something like sheriff data in, you know?
That then becomes a policy.
Policy.
That isn't inconsistent with the statute. I could try to come up with something.
I mean, I don't know what else you would use other than, you know, the sheriff's been called 40 times.
44 times for a third of the year.
But, you know, a lot of these maybe have been contacted twice.
44 times, I didn't know.
In a third of a year.
So 4 months, 44 times in 4 months.
Yeah.
But, you know, is the guy that calls in once gonna expect the same thing?
No.
You can't. It's gotta be habitual.
We
have to define
can't,
what
we
that
can't,
is.
but that's gonna be the expectation.
Yeah, but that's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna shut the silent.
Yeah, I did already.
So you had started to make a motion.
Yep, and I dropped it.
Okay.
I got the
You're
elements of
going
it.
way off into the other side of the field, so
Sounded like rain for a second.
Oh, you're gonna have to.
I was drumming my fingers, trying to decide that. How about another motion to instruct the county councilor to draft a resolution and a certified letter to send to the landowner? First, the resolution being about the findings of the fence viewing. The second, certified letter to the landowner.
Okay.
And Friday, Monday doesn't really make much difference. Have it Monday.
Okay.
Is that'd be my motion.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Dahlke. Discussion. Not all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That motion carried 5-0. I agree with the comments rather than just sending something out there. Make Brad do some more.
Yeah. Give me something to do.
Give you something to do. All right, we have our 3:30 agenda people online. Tina, if you could get them to join us.
Okay. Can you hear us, ladies?
We're paying attention.
Okay, and you're muted right now.
Okay.
Now
Hey.
you're.
Okay, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, we can hear you now. Great.
Okay, great.
Welcome. and
Okay.
Go ahead.
It was our understanding that you guys had missed out on getting the opioid lawsuit funds.
Yes.
And,
Well, I didn't think we missed out, but we just weren't aware of it. Right?
so there may be some way to appeal that, I don't know. But the rest of the money went into a fund that is managed by the SunPower Foundation, and they have the RFP out now. In fact, it's due Friday, so this will have to be a quick turnaround. But one of the things we're doing here in Harvey County is we're writing the grant for around $200,000, if that's per year, and it provides social workers, licensed social workers, and peer support that go into the jail and help people. So somebody's in the jail, they help them plan on getting out and getting them right into treatment, either mental health or substance abuse. So when they go out, they already have a plan, and research shows that does reduce recidivism. And I noticed that in 2022, you guys had 6,723 admissions to the jail, but only 143 pretrial admissions and only 109 persons that were serving a sentence there, which would indicate to me is you have a high amount of recidivism. People coming in and out the door again and again and again. I don't know if the sheriff's there or.
No, he's not here with us today.
He's not, but that number would indicate. So what this would do, and then part of the grant would also go to pay part of a salary for one of the deputies to administer the program. And then we would start with them while they're still there, help them. We have housing programs, we have all kinds of programs that we can get them set up with. And this is Shelley Parkman. She is our substance abuse director, so substance abuse disorder services. And so she is the one that would be running the program here at Prairie View.
Sounds like a very good program. It's just, it sounds like we missed out on our first round, but there's an opportunity if we can get an application by Friday.
Yeah, and for a pretty decent grant, if you get in, we're running it as a pilot here, and I think that would be a good idea there
Yes.
to run it as a pilot the first year, but this is renewable for like 18 years. We'll keep putting out money as it comes in. It'll probably dwindle over the last year. And if it works and we can show it worked, then there's no reason not to ask for it every year.
Very
Do you
good.
guys have a grant writer?
No, we do not.
Okay. Somebody I could work with. We'll have to have you guys, it probably needs to be submitted by the sheriff, and we can contact the sheriff. But if we needed to go through and get your permission to do this. And I can help them write it, and I can help them get through the submission process.
Okay, Commissioner Dalkey has a question.
Would there be a form
Sure.
that you already, that you could show us, show whoever we assign to help them get, you know,
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time.
is there a form that they would have you'd have that completed that we could look at?
The grant?
Yeah. Is there?
I had forwarded the paperwork this morning, and I was under the impression that you're going to be given a copy of it's called the Sunflower Foundation.
I have some information that you sent me. It's not your actual grant application though. It's just the basic information about it, which I could put on the
Okay.
screen for the commissioners. I think,
It's the RFP, the actual grant submission goes into a portal. So it's not done, there's not like an application to fill out. You actually go through a portal, and as I'm writing ours, I can write your guys and use you guys as I have some of your details. And that if the sheriff wants to work with me on it.
The sheriff department, have them contact them.
Well, we can authorize them to contact the sheriff.
Yeah.
I think that's all they needed from us, is to allow us to open the door.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Do I see any opposition to that?
No.
Okay, would you be willing to make that motion? No?
Kelly had a question.
Do you have a comment?
well, no, it's just really kind of a short turnaround, and
Yes.
I don't, without us having a plan, I just feel a little bit uneasy about it. I mean, I typically, you know, it just feels like we're rushing to try to put something through that hasn't been fleshed out at all.
Right.
So I understand that sometimes you have to do that if you want to get grant funding, but we have certain requirements under grants, and I don't know what those requirements are and what our reporting requirements are and all of that. So it makes me a little bit uncomfortable. Now, if the sheriff wants to work with Prairie View on it, so it's the county that would be submitting the grant application is what you're saying?
It would be because that is the sheriff's legal entity.
Mhm. Right. So whenever a county department wants to submit a grant application, they are supposed to get approval from the board to do that. The sheriff has a little bit more leeway with his position, not necessarily always having to do that, but to accept a grant, you would have to, if it were to be awarded, you would have to accept that on behalf of the county. But I just think there's a lot of details that.
Who's the administrator of the grant? Would we be? If we got a grant?
You would be.
Would we be the administrator or someone else administrator?
We'd be the administrator.
It would be us, yeah.
It would be you.
And then does the sheriff have an officer to do
which he may. I mean, there is one officer over there that's been recently hired that has been working on some grant initiatives, so.
I think we need to at least open the door for them and Jeff to have a conversation. If Jeff doesn't see that it's, feasible or doable or
Feel comfortable?
I don't think we should close the door on it. I think we should open the door and see what comes of it. But don't push it if nobody wants to do it.
I did send the information to the sheriff, and I did, but he never did respond whether it's something he's interested in working on, or, I did mention that I was gonna schedule this on the agenda, so.
He was just walking out here about 30 minutes ago.
Well, he's on his way.
So he is coming over?
Yeah.
Okay. The sheriff is on his way over, so maybe in the next 5 minutes, he can join our meeting.
Okay, yeah, I understand that it's quick turnaround, and I guess Shelley is the one that told me you didn't get the funding through the opioid grant. I thought, well, at least we could give them some
Right.
for that purpose.
Right.
But if we have to wait, this will come around next year.
Right.
And if that's what everybody decides, then I can work with somebody next year, maybe with a little more timing.
Yes.
We can do this.
Yes.
I'm open to either. I just didn't want to leave you guys out.
Well, we appreciate that.
How much is funding?
200,000.
No, that's what Harvey County's getting.
That's the maximum. We would have to look and see what the budget is.
Yeah, what do we qualify
I
for?
don't know what we get.
Where do we always fall in line? Harvey County gives so much money and we give so much money, and we always kind of know where we're at based on that.
There's a ratio.
On this program, the maximum amount that could be awarded is 200,000, from the materials that I saw.
Yeah, in Harvey County has their 200 and you would have your 200. Basically, the most of the grant, according to the grant thing, is probably for therapist hours and for the case management, and for someone, and I'm thinking we could even ask up to half of the deputy salary. And whoever, somebody is doing discharge planning and all of that with them anyway, that would pay part of that salary.
Jeff, we're talking to them. Apparently we missed out on a grant, and they have a different avenue for us to get a grant that would benefit your department, but it's due in a week.
Yeah, I just got a text message from Patrick Fleming.
Okay.
Like a couple days ago.
Yeah.
About it. Actually, Friday.
Yeah, it was pretty short, but.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't talked to Jimmy about it yet. I was actually walking in his office when they said, hey, I think we need to be over there. Okay, so I need to talk to Jimmy about it, but I'm pretty sure it's something we'd probably be interested in.
Would you be interested in doing it this week?
We'll fit it in.
These girls in Newton would help you.
That's what Patrick was telling me. He said that they would probably, the ones that would help us write it, we would sign off on it. Is that correct?
Yeah, I can help you write it. We'll have to work out how we get it submitted, because you guys need to submit it, but I can figure that out.
Okay.
But I can do a lot of the writing. I have your data, so that's what I was telling earlier is it looks like you have a lot of readmits to the jail. It looks like from the numbers, you probably have a lot that go in and out. And the goal of this would be is they're assigned a peer mentor and a therapist, and whatever services they need, we get them into services. That's not paid by the grant, the services is from the person. But the mental health worker and the prayer you would be, or the peer mentor would be paid for by the grant. And then I think up to half time of one of your deputies that, you guys do the arranging, you identify who needs to be, who fits in that program in the jail, so half of one of the deputy salaries probably.
Okay. What I would like to do is when we sit down, and you tell me when we can, but I would like to invite my jail administrator, Jimmy Philpott, He pretty much handles our jail for us. He knows his people inside and out.
Okay. Sorry, I've had a little bit of difficulty hearing you.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, I would just like to have my jail administrator, Jimmy Philpott, be part of this, since he can identify who would be probably the best fit for that program with inside of our facility.
Okay, so, I can have Patrick make the connection and maybe we could do a Zoom call or something like that sometime the next day or so.
Yeah, just tell me whenever you want me on a call, we'll make it happen.
Okay, let me see what my schedule tomorrow is. Does tomorrow at 3:30 work for you?
I have another meeting at 4:45. If we can be done by then, it would.
Okay, let's do 3:30 tomorrow. And then I'll figure out, I'll get you the link. And then we can talk about it in Zoom and decide, you know, how it needs to look and how we can balance getting everything done in such a short time.
Okay, that'll work. Tina, are you gonna be part of that?
If you want me to help with the submission, I can probably do that.
I think that would be a wise idea on my part.
Also, I'd be really curious, I want to make sure we know what the recording requirements are if
Yes.
we're awarded, so.
Okay.
That'd be something that we need to make sure we stay on top of.
Okay.
Okay, if you're able to get the application together, could you bring it to our meeting Friday morning for us to approve?
Yeah, I'll do it if we get done by Friday.
Okay, that's pushing things awful tight.
If we do miss it, Jeff, we can go next year.
Okay.
They say this
Well,
grant.
it's due by 5, so,
On Friday
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a meeting at 9.
at 9 in the morning, they have a meeting at 9 in the morning on Friday.
Okay, I think we can get something by Thursday.
Okay. Are you
I'm
gonna
be
need,
writing ours at the same time, so.
okay. Are you gonna be needing any types of numbers or data from us to complete this grant?
I don't know if you collect any numbers on like offenses, like drug, alcohol offenses,
Do we collect that data? Is that what you're asking?
on the population?
Well, the majority of everybody is in there on a drug-related offense.
Okay. If we had any numbers, that would be helpful.
Okay, I'll walk over and talk to my administrator, see what he's got.
Okay. Otherwise, I have quite a bit of information on your admits and that, so I can
Okay.
use that as well.
I sent Friday Patrick Fleming my email address. If you want to send something
Okay.
over to me with your email address on it, so that way I can get Jimmy included in on this as well.
Sure. I'll get him to send me that and include you guys in.
I can connect you after.
Oh, that'd be great.
Jody, I can connect you all.
Okay, thank you.
Right after the meeting. I'll get the two of you and the sheriff, Deputy Philpott and myself all on one.
Okay, great.
All right, I think we've got a.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.
Good luck.
Okay, probably gonna need it.
Yeah, so this grant, they said next year too as well.
It's coming.
Sounds like it's going for 18 years, but it may dwindle.
Oh, really?
That's
If
what,
it's
18
awarded,
years
she
is
said
all
it's
on yours.
renewable, but
Yeah.
then also if we don't apply this year, we could potentially apply next year,
Okay.
if it's too tight.
That sounds like maybe a possibility for a long time.
It
Anything's better than nothing.
Yeah.
helps pay for a salary, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
But the rest of it will go to free.
yeah.
I'm gonna leave it out here. If I get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're on
Thanks, guys.
you're on
Thank you.
camera now.
Yeah, thanks Tina, I appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you for reminding me.
All right. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about today?
Yeah, I had a phone call this morning, and it hasn't been fleshed out yet, and I'll probably have to work with Tina on this one. Kurt Wired, I believe was the name. I've got it in my office, because I had them record all of that for me so I wouldn't forget. Made a request of us. It didn't sound terribly pressing, but I think it comes from some citizen-related report, concern, or question. In terms of planning and zoning, at the time it was enacted, our resolutions in any way, shape, or form that make it applicable in a grandfathered sense. There was, he went into it, but it quickly devolved into a, it's too much to explain to you over the phone. So I asked him to send it to me via email so I could work with Sharon or Tina or someone in terms of finding all the resolutions. Sounds like something we're gonna end up having to deal with, and I have no idea to what extent or what scope, but we've got someone who's made a submission to the Attorney General's office inquiring about our ability to do certain things and if we in fact have resolutions to support.
So it would be like an open records request?
It wasn't really, he was just calling me as the county counselor and asking if I was aware, and I said that all occurred before I became the county's counselor, and I said we'd have to dig through and find everything. He was looking online, I said no, I'm not gonna find that there. So asked me to see if I could assist in providing it. Didn't make it sound like it was imminent or some major issue at the moment, but something we need to be aware of.
Yay.
So they're looking to make a quick buck.
That's all.
That's it?
Yeah.
Nothing else?
Yeah, we'll stop there.
Okay, very good. Did the commission want to do take any other actions today, or wait?
You mean on the contract?
Yes.
Well, the contract has expired. Probably, I don't know how long.
2 years ago.
Probably. And I know that's probably something that needs to be dealt with.
Would you be willing to do an executive session to talk about contract negotiation today?
Sure, if you want to.
All right. I know it's been a long day, but maybe we could at least have a little discussion about it.
15-minute deal.
Okay.
Tina, do you have the sheriff's email address?
I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss the contract negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it under consultations with our attorney-client privilege with the commission and Brad for 15 minutes, 3:55 to 4:10. Open session resumed back in this room following the closed session. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Becker. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed nay. Motion carried 5-0 back at 4:10.
3 minutes, I would be on for months.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we are out of executive session, no decisions made. Any closing comments, commission comments?
Yeah. So, probably should have brought it up to Bryce, but I think we need to put out some sort of extra awareness on 190th and Kansas. That intersection being closed, whether we do an ad in the paper or something, or instruct Bryce to put up signs that says, like KDOT does, but we don't have that.
He's gonna close the road for the intersection.
Yeah.
Here,
You
we're
mean
going
the Kansas
around.
intersection? Which intersection you talking?
It's 190th and Kansas.
Kansas, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's heavy travel.
He's
Well, I
gonna
mean,
put a sign up in Hillsborough too, closing the road.
Yeah, we need
But is he
some-
gonna do it when we close the road, or is he gonna put it up preemptive?
We need to be preemptive with that.
Yeah, we need to put it up ahead of time.
With a time frame,
Just
when it starts and
that construction's gonna start, and
projected.
I just,
Did we ever get a lighted sign?
a lighted sign?
Yeah.
We were getting a speed, we are getting a speed sign,
just-
but not a
Save
message.
that.
And then the other thing I got, I don't know how, this here is bourbon, and its water is taken from City Springs, north of Florence.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you
I-
got?
I don't know who makes it.
What you're advertising?
No, I'm not. I'm not turning it towards the camera. But there is a bourbon that is using water sourced out of Marion County, and I
Where'd
was
you get that
at the liquor store.
Here in town?
Yeah, it came across my Facebook feed, and so I was going to figure out where to get it, and found it at the liquor store. And I
The
thought-
water is sourced from Marion County.
From Marion County.
Florence.
Florence.
Spring.
Oh, from Florence.
The spring.
See, Tammy can put that on our tour. And
Oh, okay.
include a sample.
People go to City Springs.
Yes.
It is a tourist.
It is a tourist.
Yeah.
But I just promoting Marion County, actually, I'm talking, we have stuff here. We don't even sometimes know what we have.
There's a good whiskey machine.
No, I noticed the bottle wasn't open.
Too
I
old.
brought it just to show.
Very good, you're exactly right. There are lots, and as Tammy said, there's lots of gems in the county. Oh, good.
That's my Marion County awareness for the month or whatever.
Kicked around too, about having each commissioner once a month or something, bring in a gem, just, from your district or something that we don't know about.
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of things going on in the county we don't know about. So,
I
not
can
to,
bring in lots.
not to prolong it any more, but if there's nothing else, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. We are adjourned. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.